All right, so sorry about that. We're having some technical issues here, but know what we're gonna do. Because of the delay, we are going to transition over, and I'm gonna pull up the A&M episode, the bonus A&M episode that I told you guys about. Let me do this. Exports. Take this guy. Just making sure everything works, guys. I apologize. Apologies in advance. Okay, so we're gonna start the episode in about 4 minutes. But as I was kind of going through with the hard left, hard right stuff, again, the Lions I think the Lions issue wasn't so much they got worse. It was more of an issue of the other teams in the division got better, and so I think the Bears' improvements, I think the Packers' improvements, along with a little bit of regression from the Lions, is what led to it. And again, they were still over 500. Yes, they were fourth place in division, but the overall division got better. Even the Vikings, as bad as J.J. McCarthy was for a large portion of that, like, they got better. So it was not so much a matter of, oh, look how terrible this team was. It was more of oh, look how, just how much better these other teams got. So that would be my point of view on the Lions. Again, I don't think a terrible take in real time, but it is what it is. And that's part of the fun of doing hard left and hard right is, yeah, to some degree, we all want to be correct. And that's absolutely true. And sometimes if you have good logic, your ass can just be wrong. Like, that is also that's absolutely a possibility. So it comes with the territory. Again, here in a few minutes, as soon as this is ready to go, we're going to have the bonus episode, of A&M. And then at noon, we are debuting the new, at noon, I am debuting the first of my scripted series. This one is about Kobe and just how he has become truly impossible to rank. And despite all of the accomplishments, despite all of the accolades, like, Kobe Bryant has just become an impossible player for us to really understand where he should be in the hierarchy of the NBA, good or bad, for better or for worse. It is what it is. So that's really fun. I'm getting my little promo here ready for, for the episode. Give me a second here. Again, appreciate everybody hanging out in here. Appreciate everybody on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, wherever you are listening. Appreciate you as always. Let me do this guy here. Let's see. There we go. I'm posting this up. If you see these on Instagram, Twitter, please like, share, send them to your friends. Again, we are live until 7 p.m. tonight. Got a lot more stuff still to do. This episode's almost ready to go. Excuse me. Let me pull this. Perfect. Alrighty, let's get you guys going.
Anyway, yeah.
Just because there's so many stigmas, like, again, we went to one of my nieces. She's a candidate to be a valedictorian at her high school, and so they got an award for like the group of them. They're all candidates. Obviously, only one's gonna be able to walk across as one, but they wanted to celebrate all of them because they all got 4.0s. And they've done their like extracurricular stuff outside of school, so it was dope. Went and saw her last Tuesday, and so I was on a high school campus, and I just realized I'm like, I don't even like, unless I'm related to them, I don't even like being around people under 18. And at first I used to think that was like, maybe I'm overcorrecting just because of stigmas that exist. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, I think that's just normal. Like, you just get to a point where, like, if you don't, like, when I worked at the school, obviously, like, I had to work with people that were 17, 18 because the entry position was essentially a high school job. So you would see people that are 17, 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever. But, like, if I don't work with you, I'm not related to you. Like, I'm just not gonna be around people under 18. I'm damn near not gonna be around people under 21. Like, it's just there's nothing that. It's what I mean. I'm like, but I just think it was like, oh,
as a 30-year-old man, why are you hanging out with kids, Justin?
No, absolutely. It's like I used to think it was me. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, am I overcorrecting because I just don't ever want something to look away? Like, I used to say all the time, like, when I just think it was weird. And like, sidebar, when I worked at the school, and like, especially like little kids, like kindergartners, first graders, right? When they get excited, they want to come up and hug you. And I used to always stick my leg out. And I'm just like, nope, we're not doing this. Because it just always, to me, I was like, I didn't even want it to look for a second of like, oh, does that look suspect? Does that look weird? I'm like, I'm just going to make sure I have, because technically, it's like to a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old that's just happy and excited, they give you a hug. Grand scheme of things, not that big of a deal. But I was terrified personally of how it looked like, so I'm like, nah, we never doing this. Well, and again, I just think it was, I'm overcorrecting, but now I'm just like, that should just be, that to me should just be the norm. Like, you ain't related to the motherfucker.
Especially when you're in a school setting, like, it's a very, I think that's just how they train teachers now.
Like,
you
don't
know,
touch me, kid.
Like, you can't.
I feel bad rejecting the kid because, again, the 5 or 6-year-old doesn't have like any ill will or like bad intent behind it.
No, but it's also a great way to teach boundaries too. You know, especially at the elementary school age. You know, my wife's a teacher, and so her whole thing is like, we don't hug, we high five. You know, like there are so many other ways that we can celebrate something. And when you're dealing with like kids that young, it's just a good way to, like, one, it protects you, and the other, it's like, it's also like we don't want kids like running up on someone who doesn't want to be touched and touching them, right? Like,
no, 1,000%.
I feel that way in the real life too. You know what used to drive me up the wall, Justin? I would be in high school, when we were in high school together. It set me off one day. I was having already kind of a bad day. I'm sitting at lunch, just eating my sandwich. Some random human comes up behind me and starts massaging my head. I don't see who this is. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. And I'm literally eating, and someone just starts massaging my head. I freaked the fuck out. I went, I'm good, yo, and I got up and I left. I was like, nah, fuck that. It's some personal fucking space, dude.
I agree. What the fuck is,
Even now, dude, I'm not really big on people I don't know touching me. As I think a lot of people are. I don't think that's an unheard of thing to go, I don't know you, don't touch me.
That's 1,000%. Like, a couple of kids at the high school, I wanted to walk up. And again, I just because of height, it's like I get looks. And the one kid, like, started, like, coming to me, and I'm just like, bro, please stay away. Like, I know you don't got, like, you might not have any will. You might just think, damn, I saw a tall person, but, like, please, just leave me alone. Like, go do what you're doing. Like, I'm just trying to, don't be around me. That is my personal space boundary. Get the fuck away from me. With that lovely intro being said, I don't hate kids. Appreciate
anyway,
kids.
Shout out to Meta going the way of Snapchat.
Jesus.
Definitely no child pornography on that. You can believe that. It'll make it.
I was
funny.
like that one.
It's more funny if you bleep it.
With that being said, welcome back to another episode of A&M. This is going to be a short episode. My internet's been fucked up all week. I'll have better internet, fingers crossed, starting literally tomorrow. Plus, there's no chapter this week. And so, I sent one thing. This has been my new form of taking notes, which is I just randomly text Matt, and I'm like, don't forget this later. And I saw this on Twitter, and I did think it was interesting. It was just kind of, it wasn't like last week where it was somebody specific, but it was a kind of a general conversation. And it was, what is the golden era of anime and manga? I specifically want to talk about anime for this
right now.
Manga. Okay, so that's what. So I assume this is going to be your answer, but we're going to phrase this for content. Mm-hmm. For something like anime, which, again, I love a lot of 90s anime. I am also aware they can't compete strictly from an animation level with shows of today. Like, I'm aware, like, computers are better, animation is better, the guys doing it are they've gotten smarter and they've evolved, like, totally understand. With that said, if you were to ask what is the golden era of anime, should it be based on the best content or should it be based on the best animation?
I think it's a bit of both, right? I think it should be content, animation. It should also be what's coming out too, man. Like, are people excited for what's coming out? I guess this is a better question. What do you see as the golden age of anime, Justin?
I'm extremely conflicted on this. I think that 1,000% the big three have a right to be in the conversation because not only was it not, and I don't know what the viewership numbers would be because obviously they existed still when television, like regular television, like they were broadcasted on Japanese television every Saturday morning or night. Well, I think we got them at night. I think Japan gets them in the mornings, if I remember the schedules correctly. Like Japan gets their anime. So I do think they deserve to be in the convo, if for no other reason. Their viewership was crazy, and they absolutely transformed how anime is today. And you could damn near any big series right now, and it's a little weird because, like, music kind of falls into the same ranks where it's just like you're dealing with such a close timeline. I'm curious what it looks like in 50 years, 100 years. But so many shows and stories of today are influenced clearly because of the big three that I think they've got a right to say they are the golden era. Between explosion, more people bringing into the space, how many people were watching to begin with. Mm-hmm. But I do kind of defer to, even if I don't watch as many of them, like, if you want to say these last 5 years, so My Hero, JJK, I really love Sakamoto Days. Like, there's been a bunch of newer shows that just flat out, when you look back in 50 years, if you don't love the stories that came out from the 2000s, you're going to think they're dog shit. It's just from an anime perspective. Like, you got to really like those stories because, like, you talked about it like a few weeks ago where you're like, you watch the beginning of Naruto, I don't remember if it's like for a cardio or whatever, and you're just like, Oh yeah, there's way more like just episodes that don't need to be here than I remember. Like you were like, I just needed to go from Naruto becomes a ninja, go straight to the land of waves. Like you're like, no, there's actually like 5 or 6 just random episodes of like, why do these exist? And that quality hurts the overall show. So if you didn't grow up with it in real time or just love it because you got into it whatever year you did, it's gonna be tough. But so like 2021 to 2026 absolutely has an argument, and the only other one I would give is the Big Three era. I can't give the 90s as much as I love them because it's the introduction, but I would view the 90s however people, when they get into music conversations, like most people don't use composers because it's like, how do you argue better or best with guys who literally like establish the sound for something? Like Jake invited me to a Gundam movie. I love Gundam because I grew up with Gundam in the 90s. Gundam is just a bunch of robots throwing shit at each other and shooting each other. Like it's not winning best writing or like best show. It's just, I just liked, as a 7-year-old, I liked big robot with guns blow shit up. And I still kind of like that. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I rock with Gundam.
I will say, I had to sit down and watch, or I didn't have to, but I sat down and watched the last movie that came out with Jake, and it does have a really cool scene where it's a Gundam fight from the people's perspective.
Oh,
so you're like on the ground and you're watching these things just like disintegrate buildings and like get thrown through shit, and you're like, holy shit. Unfortunately, I did not know what was going on, but I also it did make me deep dive Reddit and go, what do I watch? Because apparently there's like 75 different timelines. There's like a million different animes. What do I watch? And it was like, oh, just watch these 3 movies. And I was like, great. Fantastic. So there is a way that we could just watch Gundam and not like cave our heads in.
No, I only know 2 like very well. I know Wing because that was the OG one that was on Toonami when I was a kid, and I know Blood Orphans because it was when we lived together. Blood Orphans had either just come out or it was still relatively new, where like it was showing up in my Netflix. And Jake was the only other person that I knew even like remotely watched Gundams. He's like, yeah, it's good. It's like, it's again, it's the acknowledgement. When you say Gundams is good, it is with the full acknowledgement of like, you know what you're getting. It is, Gundam is the Fast and the Furious of the anime world. Like, we know why we're here. It is, but that's why I can't take the 90s as like this golden age, because like, yeah, they set a lot of templates. Again, the same way the Big Three set templates for shows today. Like, they're just, especially if you're just talking anime. Like, I can't take OG Dragon Ball and be like, this is great, because I got 400 episodes and I could skip.
I will say, I'm like, I see that less as like the golden age of anime, and more as like the golden age of manga. I also think anime at that point, like the big anime, right? It wasn't good. It was just consistent.
Yes, and pumping out shit every fucking week.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, it obviously killed the quality of the show.
Yes.
But when it didn't kill the quality of the show, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, because there's a lot of good things out, because a lot of good things came from a lot of what's good now. Yeah, a lot of what's good now came from that. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot of the Naruto template, the Bleach template, the Dragon Ball template, the One Piece template. Yeah, I'll throw One Piece in there still because One Piece has been around for so long, right?
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of new authors go, oh yeah, I grew up with Naruto. Let me make my version of it. I grew up with Bleach. Let me make my version of it. You know, oh my god, I grew up with Fairy Tail. I want to make my version of that, you know? And you have, that it's not just authors, though, that grew up with it. You have animators that grew up with that stuff, too. oh shit, I want to make something like the guy that did the Naruto Sasuke fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of animator I want to be. Oh hell yeah, let's like add impact frames. Let's add this, let's add that. And it's all because of what came in this period in when we were kids. That being said, I wouldn't count that as a golden age. I'd count that more as a template. Our Toonami era is more of like a template for what is now I would consider the golden age.
Yeah.
The first thing I said, like we might have our gripes about the JJK ending, right? We both said when it gets animated, it's gonna be fucking fire.
Absolutely. I love season 3, and I hate season 3 in the manga. I don't like Yuta. So I'm a Yuta critic.
Yeah,
but he's fantastic.
You know, like that's what I'm saying, right? Like, me and Jake both said Kagurabachi is a fucking amazing manga, and we both said if the anime adaptation does it right, it'll try to catch the movement that's in those early chapters, because that how the author panels, you could tell the author's like, this is made for an anime, but I'm gonna make damn sure it's close in here. So you know, I've also wondered if authors are just building towards an anime now. They go, if I can make something that's like hype and I can get it to the animation level, I can be picky with my studio. I can work with the people. This was my theory with JJK. It's why he threw his ending. Because he goes, I can make a whole scene out of this one panel. Right? This one panel can be a 2-minute fight scene. This one panel can explain, like, it can be like a 5-minute segment in with what Mappa does with it. So yeah, I feel like now, if I would say anything is the golden age of anime, I'd say now is the golden age of anime.
No, I'm gonna pull up a screenshot here in a second, because this is again going with the conversation. Now, specifically in this one, they don't include.
I think also here's another thing too, right? Like, anime is so popular. A movie, a global release movie for an arc.
Yeah.
Right? Not even the beginning of one. A global release makes some of these things, are some of like the highest grossing movies for animation ever. Right? I really do think it starts with Demon Slayer. Like, Demon Slayer did its movie, and that really, I think, took off every other. It like elevated everything else.
No, that's super valid.
It definitely elevated shonen. Yeah, like, we definitely had a higher opinion on like what a shonen should look like.
And I think one of the reasons, like, when you say golden era, I think what gets so tough, it's kind of why I actually like this picture, is because again they exclude Dragon Ball for this from the 90s, and for an interesting point, which is one of the hardest things that, again, you're never going to forget your first in almost anything. And so to a lot of people, like, either Dragon Ball, like we talked about for, like, either Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the shit that we got exposed to when we were younger that was on either Warner Brothers or Toonami, like, that was your introduction. And you're never going to be able to recreate that for yourself. Like, the first time you see something is the first time you see something. But that doesn't... Nostalgia does not create the golden era. It's literally the nostalgia era, or nostalgic. Like, it does not make, which is why I really do love like that. Like, I love that Dragon Ball Z Kai exists. even though I never cared to watch it because I already knew the story back and front, and I'm like, I'm good. But I love that it exists. I will probably never finish. This is my controversial. I will probably never finish what Wit is creating. I'm glad it exists. I will watch episodes. I will probably never truly sit there and finish it because at that point in my life, I don't know if I want to watch Water 7 when I'm 40 years old. Just being honest. I don't know if that's how long it's going to take them, but just for example of these, right? But I'm glad it exists for kids that are born in a year, 5 years, 10 years. And it's like, oh, you guys are going to have this great experience because you can watch One Piece the same way I did and not have to wonder, wow, we're really doing Foxy Round 2 right after doing Foxy Round 1? This seems kind of weird. And it's like, well, we got to get an episode out this week, and we're not ready for Water 7, so we're just running it back. All right, why not? And so, but I think that makes it so hard is because, again, not just nostalgia, but like those are still beloved series. Like the big three fall into nostalgia now. Like they've all been. I know Bleach is animating its final arc, and it's a little weird of a timeline, but it's like Naruto's been over for 10 years.
But
One Piece is
how is it animating it? You know what I mean? That's a big thing. Bleach is animating its final arc, but it's gone to a seasonal basis or a part basis. You know, say like a quote unquote seasonal basis.
Yeah.
And they upgraded the animation.
No, it looks sick.
They brought the animation, right? Like, is it hilarious that they do recaps? Yeah. I get you know, that's the old studio. Like, well, it is Bleach. We gotta drag this shit out a little bit. Also, it's been 10 years, and can't expect someone to watch a 600 episode show. Apparently, who'd have thought?
So I'm going to share this. This is the picture that's been going around. And so these are divided by the golden eras. So we got the 80s, we got the 90s, we got the 2000s. The 2010s, which that, no bullshit, Attack on Titan is a big enough IP. It probably deserves a nod in that conversation because
I think so too. I said that Demon Slayer set the tone. I think Attack on Titan did also. It was kind of the first time that a lot of shonen heavy viewers, myself included, got exposed to something that was seasonal, that was fucking awesome. And it wasn't FMA.
Is FMA not shonen for real?
FMA is shonen. I would classify it as shonen. Whether it was in that magazine or not, I think it was in the more adult one.
That tracks.
Anyway, but yeah, I think like the animation from Attack on Titan really pushed the bill, and then if I remember the timeline right, Demon Slayer also really pushed the bill in animation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that huge animation push, I mean, one, Attack on Titan put Wit on the map, right? And then whatever studio has Demon Slayer made way too much money with Mugen Train. And what was
Isn't that
Mappa's?
I thought Demon Slayer wasn't.
Different studio. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure Mappa was. Was it JJK?
No, I feel like I've heard
Was Mappa's first giant behemoth, was that JJK?
No, because Mappa's been on the map for, let me see here, so...
Oh, for sure. All of these studios have been on the map, but Mappa Animes...
Wait, no, yeah, wait, hold up. This is telling me... streaming site you're using to watch anime. Like, it's fine because now they all exist in a place and you can watch them when you want. Nothing was more frustrating and stupid than the way Attack on Titan broke up their last season and a half. It was just so dumb. Like, they just build us on final season. Oh, but wait, there's more. And then now final season. Oh, but wait, there's more. It's like, bro, just...
Yeah, I think Mappa's big get put on the map anime was JJK. Obviously, like, they had other things that weren't crazy mainstream. Well, I mean, that I'm sure fandoms love and are equally passionate about, but I'm gonna be real, I hadn't heard of Mappa before JJK.
So
I'm pretty sure.
And they technically got JJK super early because they did that movie, the Night of a Thousand Curses.
That came out after season 1.
Oh, that is okay.
JJK season 1 was 2021. When was Hell's Paradise? But I even think Hell's Paradise, as much as I love it, I don't think that is as mainstream as JJK.
What studio made?
No, it was 23 anyway. Yeah, I think JJK really put Mappa on the map because one of the reasons why it took so long for seasons to come out was because they were working on Attack on Titan.
That's going to be really... Okay. The most underrated studio to me is always Madhouse. And I only say that I only have one series that I fuck with them, but they did such a good job with Hellsing that I'm like, I am forever indebted to them. That shit is...
Like, what have they put out recently?
Madhouse, I have no fucking clue. That was just so... When you get that... So, and then we'll actually break down little errors here real quick.
I mean, Madhouse has Death Note.
Oh, that helps. That'll help.
Yeah.
That'll pay some bills. I don't care for Death Note at all, but if you Death Note...
Oh, Madhouse had the first 2 seasons of One Punch Man.
Wow. Oh,
okay. That's also
really
pretty mainstream. But Mappa picked up season 3. People
Isn't that when it went to hell? Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't make it through season 1 of One Punch Man.
I couldn't make it through the first episode, so I'm not a gag anime person.
Well, I don't mind a gag anime, but I'm also like, what are we? I need something. I like Mob Psycho better.
That's fair. But what Madhouse did, and I think Mappa does do this pretty well too, is like you get these high-end quality animations, but there's still so many like hand-drawn things. Like looking at this graphic here, like when you see the shit from the 80s and the 90s, and it's like, yeah, the animation clearly can't compete with the newer shit, but there's just something so fucking cool when you can see the hand-drawn inside like these graphics, where it's like I can see the whole cast, and I'm like, oh, I can see where somebody was outlining these. And the big 3 has it a little bit. But then you get to, like, Attack on Titan has that. Where Attack on Titan, you can clearly tell, like, there was such an attention to hand-drawn and the detail and then putting it through super high-end animation, which I'm aware, and I'm not an animator, so I give them all the respect in the world. That takes a long fucking time. It is not simple because you are drawing out so many... You're drawing out almost every single individual action, which just takes a fuck ton of time. Like, they spend... I was watching one, I forget who it was, but it was like Crunchyroll had an animator from somebody, and they basically just popped it up as a, hey, listen to him talk about it. And he's like, some of these scenes, like, it literally might take you to animate something from the manga, like, that might just be your day, and it's just that a couple pages, and it's like I need him to go fluidly from this to this, and it's like it's a motherfucker to make. Back here to the graphic. So the 80s, I'm be real. The only one I even remotely know from this is I know that the top right corner is the North Star dude, and the only thing I know about his series is he's the meme that's like you're already dead, and people just fucking explode because he just punches or kills you that fast. And that's about all I know from the North Star. I have no idea who this is in the middle. Nor do I know who's on the left. How good's your 80 anime knowledge?
My 80s anime?
Your 80s anime knowledge. I know the far right is North Star.
I don't know ball like that, brother.
I don't know the other two worth a damn. So, if you think the 80s is the golden era, feel free to let us know. But I've seen only the memes and like the 30-second clips from North Star. I have no context on it otherwise.
It's not my. I'm not looking for anything from the 80s. I'll be real. And maybe that makes me a fake anime fan. And I'll tell you this: I don't like American TV from the 80s.
What's the oldest
I'm gonna
TV
just
show
tell you
like?
that right. The oldest TV show that I like? Ooh,
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. I'll throw that one back at you in a sec. Let me.
My discography is not deep.
Like. I think oldest TV show probably. It's probably. Fuck me. Is it Avatar?
No.
Is that
fucking
03?
way. No fucking way.
I mean, I guess, hold on. When did the Naruto anime start? But even then, I don't love that anime. If we talk, like, oldest TV show that I absolutely love.
Okay, if we still have to love it, Avatar definitely.
Oh, wait, that's
might not be as
05.
good.
Wait, hold on. I might have an actual answer for you. It could be Danny Phantom.
Does the Pokemon anime
That's
count for you?
04. That's 04, 03 era. Let me see if I can go farther back. What else?
Does Pokemon count for you?
I like Pokemon, but the anime is fine.
I guess I'll defer.
I'll go out on. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I might
Indigo
eat my
specifically
words right now.
I'm not gonna make you fucking like defend going all the way up to 2026, but like, would you Indigo League?
No. I'd say those first 3 arcs should get lumped together if you're gonna do that.
So Kanto, Johto,
And even then, and like it's, I think I'll be real. I think the Pokemon anime gets better the older it gets.
Damn.
And that's me being, yeah. And that's because I just think the battles get more interesting to look at.
That's fair. That's fair.
I also.
Is it Avatar?
Yeah. The question isn't what shows. The question isn't what show do you like that's old, right? It's your favorite older.
Yeah.
Right, and so like I was like, oh, the old Batman the animated series.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's 92. I think it still slaps. That might be up there. Let me do this other one real quick because I also really love Shaolin Showdown. Like
that was
Shaolin
trending
Showdown.
yesterday. It ended 15 years ago, I think, was why it was trending yesterday. It's great because nobody fucking understands the ending, and they're like, "Why did Raimundo?"
It didn't. Not 15 years ago, brother. This show came out in 03, and it's 3 seasons. Final episode was 20 years ago.
Holy shit! 2006, Jesus. And it finishes. It's not doesn't leave us hanging.
Yeah, it has an actual ending. They tried bringing it back, but it doesn't. It's like retcon, and it like fell on its face. I think Batman the Animated Series might be my favorite old TV show. No. Nah, it's really good though, man. It holds a special place in my heart.
What is it?
But okay, for this, what about you, Justin? What's your favorite old?
If you take the animated series, I'm really hyped to say Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond is one of the most enjoyable watches.
Oh, Batman Beyond's pretty good.
And that's 02. No, sorry, it airs in 90. I just googled it. It airs in 99. Yeah, January.
It's 99. Batman Beyond's pretty good.
It's a fucking incredible watch. And I wasn't even, you don't have to know the lore of Batman. All you really have to know Batman Beyond is you're just like, Bruce Wayne was a badass. And him having to learn to, like, how do I not beat this fucking kid into his fucking early grave while still needing him to be Batman. You don't have to know the Batman lore. Don't have to be really big into the comics. And that show still works. And that's coming from someone who was not into the comics and was never a big Batman guy. But that show's fucking incredible. Like,
yeah, it's definitely like procedural. If you're down to just watch a random episode, you can kind of pick it up wherever and just watch it. It's really nice. It's really fun. I can't say the last time I watched it though, which is why I'm like, is it my favorite? Or
there's
but
an episode.
No, you know what? I think if I go like oldest show that is my favorite oldest show is probably Batman the Animated Series, only because there's a new movie coming out called Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a live action. It's gonna take place in the same universe as the Superman movie that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this trailer, right? And I'm getting mad flashbacks to the Clayface episode, to the point where I was like, holy shit, I'm really excited for this. And I'm like telling Alex this, and she's like, I could give a fuck. And I'm like, that's based. But I was like, yeah, the Clayface episode where it's just so sad. And they were like, well, what if we did that and we made Clayface scary also? And I was like, that's cool too. Yeah, you don't have a Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn doesn't exist if you don't do the Batman the Animated Series.
That's fair.
So, you know, to the people that are like, nah, that's a bad take. I asked, do you like Harley Quinn?
So Rob Liefeld, I don't know if you saw this. Rob Liefeld a few weeks ago, he got into like, he put out a quote unquote controversial opinion, and he called Batman the Animated Series, it's the greatest animated show ever made. Like, it's the standard. And he pissed people off because he's like, again, this is one of those arguments you have to go quality of the story versus quality of the show production. And he's like, Batman the Animated Series is better than Invincible. Now, they're 30 years apart. And it's like, obviously Invincible has just newer shit it can do. It's got better production, blah, blah, like all that stuff. You can't compete. A show from the 90s is never going to beat a show from 2025 that has an Amazon budget, right? But he's like, that's the gold standard. Batman
the Amazon
Beyond
budget is 50-50, you know?
Well, there's a lot of voice acting in the Amazon. The Amazon budget, how much goes to the show and how much goes to voice acting.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
But,
ooh, Justin.
Batman Beyond.
Justin, you know what you didn't? You know what you didn't say?
Go for it.
Batman Beyond's good. It's 99.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai Jack is 2001.
Samurai Jack's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Is it better than Batman Beyond?
No. And I love Samurai Jack.
I don't
Samurai
agree
Jack's
with
not
that.
bad. There's an episode of Batman Beyond where I didn't even see the full episode, but I saw like they had posted like 8 minutes from the episode on Twitter, and so I watched that. Where a girl that Bruce had fallen in love with when he was younger, her dad injected himself, like his brain, into his daughter, re-seduced Bruce to then take over Bruce's body. And I'm like, this is why, like, the shit they used to just, like, I don't know what the fuck the FCC or the FA, whoever the fuck controls TV.
Those old school, like, that style is so, like, distinct, too, because they were not afraid to be dark with it. I forgot that Static Shock took place in that universe, too. It spawned the Justice League. Superman's technically in that realm of show. Superman the Animated Series is 1996.
Oh, see, for me, Yu-Gi-Oh's 1998. That would make my... it sucks because now, like, I like the original story of Yu-Gi-Oh so much better than, like, the English anime, but I'm attached to those English voice actors where I'm like, Yugi can't speak, and I'm like, I have to hear him in dub because that's the voice I'm used to. But the storylines you get off when you don't have to adhere to kids, like, I just for the first time, because I follow him on Twitch, he's doing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything I have brought up before, like, he's doing a watch along because he's sad there's no more Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and he's like, this is my job, and they just stopped making it. So, but he did a rewatch of, we're on season 4 of GX, which never came to America. And I always vaguely knew why, because the villain in season 4 is just the devil. But I was unaware of, like, how fucked up they got in season 4. It's like the last episode that he just watched us watch along yesterday. He convinces the guy that he's dueling that his parents died in a car fire. But not only did they die in a car fire, the child, who was about 7 or 8 at the time, had the choice: save mommy or save daddy. And he chose save daddy. So then the devil basically summoned a monster, which was just a woman screaming on fire the whole time. And he's like, this is your mom. You did this. She's dead. And eventually just broke him, where he just snaps at the end and he loses. And once he lost, the end of the episode, you realize his parents were never actually dead. The devil fucked with his memory and then had him go kill his parents at the end of said episode. And I'm just like, I get why this didn't make it to America. I fully understand why they were like...
I have a sneaking suspicion I get why it's not coming.
And everybody's like, oh, they're doing a GX rematch. And it's like, this is never getting dubbed. They will never put this in English anywhere ever. But shout out to...
I don't know. Hope maybe they would.
That's... Going to the 90s, they represent. So we got Pokemon, Yu Hakusho, and Cowboy Bebop. I don't know, when you're talking about, like, the golden era, how much, like, cult classics play into, like, a golden era appeal? Because Bebop is, to me, like, a cult classic. I don't think Bebop's as good as everybody says it is, but you can't deny it's, A, how big its fan base has gotten.
Cowboy Bebop. That's not a bad one either.
For your old
Cowboy
favorite
Bebop is
show?
1998. 1998. Notice how we haven't touched the 80s. Is it because we weren't alive yet? I wasn't alive when the animated series was a thing, but I did get Boomerang at the height of the animated series always being on.
Boomerang was clutch. Boomerang was dope.
Yeah, I guess that's a good answer. We kind of kept it American, but, like, let's look at, like, technically Dragon Ball's an 80s anime.
Yeah, but see, I would give the same answer why you wouldn't pick Pokemon is the same answer I wouldn't pick Dragon Ball. And I can,
right?
I guess if it's just I love
1986 for Dragon Ball.
That's tough. If it's just how much I love it,
but like
it
also
probably makes the list. It's just has a ton of flaws.
I'm like, I think Z is what put it on the map, right? Like Dragon Ball, and that came out in 80. That came out in 89.
Still, yeah.
So I think that's not a bad. I don't give a fuck about Dragon Ball Z, so I'm still safe.
Now, Toonami's hilarious because Toonami gave us Dragon Ball Z first, and then after it was obviously doing really well, it was popular, they were like, And by the way, did you guys know Goku wasn't an adult immediately? And they're like, we're going to give you the original story. Like, he's a child. And so that, we were further along.
If you're a big Gundam fan, that's 1979 for Mobile Suit, which is canon, from what I've been told.
It is canon. That's like the
I've also been told to like not watch the show and watch the anime, or watch the movie that came out. So I'm like, okay, great, that's also love fair. That. Watch it was like, don't watch the show, watch the 3 movies they made out of the first show.
The Gundam's tough. Do I love Gundam more than... See, now I'm fucking myself up. Like, am I doing it off quality of the show? Am I doing it how much I love it?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I can definitively say I like Batman the Animated Series. And I think if we're going favorite oldest, I'm okay with putting that one there. Amazon put out a mini series that's kind of like an homage to the old Batman animated series, in style and in music and tone, and they were like, let's like take all of that and then like add it into a different like a different type of, not a different type, but let's take this, everything that this is, and then put it into a new show. Made for a 2020, I think it came out last year, 2025 audience, 2024 audience. And it was a sleeper, honestly. It was really, I had a great time with it. Came across it accidentally at Comic-Con. And yeah, Batman Caped Crusader. It's a really good time.
If it's just, I believe it. If it's just like, I'll put Gundam there. Gundam was fun. Like Toonami was a good time, man. 3 to 5.
Yeah. What's an old show that, if you go, what's an old show that you liked? You can put Gundam there.
I could put Gundam there. See, if I'm looking at this list again, like, I agree that right now clearly is like animation is better. There is more good stories. That middle column is just fucking hard to fuck with, man. Like, and that's admitting that
just like
2 of the 3 suck. It's holistically like One Piece of Naruto sucks as an anime.
I can't see this whole graphic. What am I? Is it just like, oh, it's going horizontally? I get it. So it's what, 80s, 90s,
2000s,
early aughts, 2010s, 20s.
20s, yeah. That big 3 years is tough.
It's I would say the golden age started in 2010.
Attack on Titan,
for sure.
My hero.
Yeah, and then it all just accelerated into what it is now.
No, it's valid.
I also appreciate how this is structured because the 3 anime on the bottom are all Mappa. So take that with what you will.
Yeah, I mean, that helps.
No,
that helps.
Spy Family is not Mappa. Excuse me, Spy Family's Wit. Chainsaw Man is Mappa.
See, and I don't care.
Right? Spy Family is Wit.
I don't know what I have a harder time.
I enjoyed everything I've seen of Chainsaw Man so far. I've only heard that it gets worse as it goes, but honestly, everything I've seen, I'm like, this is kind of cool, and I like the vibe of. I kind of like there's almost like a Pulp Fiction-y vibe that I've been digging with it. Another movie that you should watch, Justin.
I've seen Pulp Fiction.
You've seen it?
I've seen Pulp Fiction.
There you go.
I saw Pulp Fiction because my uncle was obsessed with it, and He just didn't let me say no.
Good.
You know,
He has taste.
I got Pulp Fiction. I was very loudly told, what Samuel L. Jackson say? It's what, motherfucker?
Say what again?
Yeah, like,
Nah, I like the Royale. There's so many. I love the watch story in that one. The watch story is like, I haven't seen the movie in years, and I love I think about the watch scene every time. He's your dad. He shoved this watch up his ass and he smuggled it out. And now I'm giving you your dad's watch. You're just sitting there, and this little kid's looking at the watch, and he's like, "This was in my dad's ass."
it's a true family heirloom. Like, how do you say no to that?
Dude, it's so good. It's such a good scene. It like sends me every time, man.
You can't say no if it's been up your dad's ass.
Me and your
like,
dad, we were closer than brothers. I loved your dad.
Oh shit. But yeah, no, again, we're gonna have a shorter episode for everybody listening. So we're wrapping up here pretty soon. That was my question. How do we have like a cult classic of the 2020s?
Yeah, we won't know yet. Ask me in like 4 years.
Because if I'm looking at this, the 90s, I would say it's Bebop.
What do you mean by like a cult classic, Justin? That's a good question. Because I feel like we're so close. You're saying 2020s, like it isn't 2026, right? Mm-hmm. We can't answer that. I do a cult classic from the early 2000s, maybe.
So I think it's
I don't.
I felt like Death Note was a cult, so maybe classics what's fucking it up, but like just obviously you need some time to be like quote unquote a classic. But like Death Note, I felt you could feel in real time. While it wasn't ever a part of the big three, it was always huge. So, and technically, when does Death Note come out? What year did Death Note come out? Did Death Note come out?
Season 1 was 2006.
Oh, 3 is the manga and 6 is the anime. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like that polarized. And obviously, again, it's darker. So it was never going to be like, forget what the stories have turned into. Like, Naruto was bright and colorful. One Piece is bright and colorful. Like, but you always knew there was a lot of people. It was like the anime people were like, do you like Death Note? And it was like they wanted to be cool, like acknowledging they were a Death Note fan. It's like, bro, we're all a bunch of fucking nerds here. Like, I don't need you. Like, don't creep up on me talking about do you like Death Note?
Yeah, please don't talk to me.
Yeah. And so like Death Note would be that for the 2000s. I feel like for the 90s it's Bebop. For the 2010s, do we feel like we have like that culty classic style show?
From the 2010s is a good question.
Like, and the show's got to have some staying power.
You know, it started. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a cult classic. It was actually the most popular. It was the most popular sports anime. So no, I don't know. I might be a filthy casual.
Kuroko no
No,
Basket,
that
the
was in the
basketball one.
2010s.
Oh,
no, Haikyuu.
I mean,
Haikyuu's 2014.
Sports
I wouldn't call it a cult classic.
Yeah, I wouldn't
call it a cult classic. I think everybody loves Haikyuu.
Yeah, that's just the difference.
And at least for the majority of its runtime, I mean, it's still going, but they're releasing they're finishing it out with movies. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Haikyuu is really good, man.
No, I'm not. I'm saying where I say it's a different basket is like again like the basketball manga.
Well,
that,
no,
like,
we're talking cult classics, right? Like,
yeah, that was too popular to be a cult classic.
I think Haikyuu might have been too popular.
I'm gonna just do 2010 animes on the Google search and see if one just like brings to my. Is there something that just feels like it should be? Oh, Boruto.
High School of the Dead.
Okay, fuck that. Fuck the fact that is like, listen, I'm all for being a nerd. I am one. I'm all for having nerdy hobbies. I get it. If you ever like start a conversation off with like, you like anime? Yeah. You like High School of the Dead? You deserve to be punched in your mouth. You deserve to be kicked when you're on the ground, and you deserve whatever bad things happen to you after you get thrown in a body bag off the freeway. You've earned it. Like, do not start a conversation with High School of the Dead. Looking here, gosh, there's so much anime that I just wish didn't exist.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, to be a cult, you have to be like above. You obviously have to be a level of popular. Like Death Note was popular. Like when I called Death Note a cult classic, like it was extremely popular, but it was clearly in a different space than what the big three had. Cowboy Bebop was extremely popular, but it was clearly in a different space than like with Dragon Ball.
Okay, I guess if you put it like that, if we're defining cult classic like that.
I would call.
I mean,
when did this come out? What year did? My fucking Google is now just all. What year did this come out?
I mean, Parasite. Parasite.
Okay.
Probably.
Parasite's interesting because we have a friend who was actually really into. It was Parasite and Tokyo Ghoul, and this is both 2010s. I think the problem with them is I think they both only have 2 seasons. Like. And they flamed out, which I think hurts them. You know what? What year is Steins Gate?
Good question. Steins Gate, I think, is a perfect example of a cult classic.
I agree. And if it's in the 2010s,
Steins
I would give
Gate,
it to them.
it's 2011. I would give it to
Steins Gate, yeah.
Personally.
It's
what
so
else?
well known, but clearly operating in a different space. Like, it's considered a perfect anime.
I think Steins Gate is a perfect example of a cult classic. Nobody talks about that show.
Yeah. It's the only show you like about time travel.
It's the only thing that I think it's the only one. It's my favorite time travel. You're totally right.
Like,
because it does it in an interesting way.
You got to. Like, it's tough, but like
I was like, dude, I had my mind blown in that show because the way they did it. They were like, well, you can't actually change your timeline. You just jump to another dimension where it hasn't happened yet, and then you jump to a parallel timeline where it hasn't happened yet, and then try again. And so you literally just bouncing between these timelines, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
So was it like multiverse? I haven't seen Steins Gate. That's
kind of.
Sin.
It's closer to multiverse, but it's utilizing a multiverse it's using multiversal terminology for time travel, and I think that's cool.
That's valid.
Because like the multiverse, episodes? Steins Gate,
it's short, isn't it? Yeah, it's short. Right?
The OG series was. This says 11 to 2015. Yeah, right, bitch. I thought it was like 1 season.
I think it is. I think it is only 1 season, but I don't remember if it was 7 or 8 episodes. Because there's not really like a standard for seasons, unfortunately.
It was 25.
Oh, 25 episodes?
20. Yeah.
Holy shit! Way more Steins Gate than I thought.
Oh yeah, and they brought it back too.
Oh. Well, I don't count.
Yeah, there's like a couple. There's a bunch of Steins Gate. Yeah, you have Steins Gate 0, which is like a new thing, and newer thing, I should say. Yeah, no, it was cool. That was a cool show. It was a sleeper.
You know what
I didn't know anybody talking about it. You know, it was also kind of a banger. That first season of Made in Abyss was really good.
But you said it sucked season 2?
No, I liked season 2. But what sucks is the release schedule of it.
Oh. Okay.
Like it's the guy that writes it, it's his passion project. He just kind of like does it in his spare time. So he puts out maybe a chapter a year.
Holy shit.
So it's like
it's a little tough to
maybe
around.
So they did the first season, and they basically did all of the material in the first season, kind of like how Attack on Titan did. And then time passed. A lot of time passed. And he did enough for his second season and so on. And then the studio dropped the anime. And then I think the author was just like, I don't want there to be an anime. I want you to do movies for arcs, which is cool. I actually kind of appreciate that if he was releasing anything even kind of consistently. So, you know, the fandom says they're lucky if they get 2 chapters a year.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, he puts out anywhere between 1 and 3 chapters a year.
I mean, if it's your passion project, do it at your own speed, I guess.
Well, I was talking to Jake about this. Apparently the author's like an accountant, so he don't need money. Like he don't give a shit.
That's like there's a really popular YouTuber, and he's a pro player / YouTuber. He's probably official rankings. I don't know where he is, but he's kind of acknowledges he's like a top 5 to 10 player in the world. But he is also an accountant. He works for one of the big 4 firms, and he's just like, guys, Yu-Gi-Oh is just a hobby. I'm just happen to be really good at it. So people want him to post a lot on YouTube, and it's like, I have a real job that pays me really well. This is just I show up at events when I can, and that's about it. And it's like, boy, did it. I guess last question here before we head out. Chainsaw Man to me feels like it should be fuck Chainsaw Man. Is FMA a cult classic to you?
I think there's a case for that. I just feel like anyone that likes anime though likes it.
I tried.
I think it's in the same boat as Death Note, where it's not like, I don't know, man. No, you know what? You know why I'm gonna say no? Because there was definitely the last season of Brotherhood. I was at Comic-Con when the last season came out on DVD, and it's not Viz, it's the Animatrix,
Top 10,
whatever distributor.
Top 5, greatest ever.
Aniplex. Sorry.
We have these debates
They had,
all
like, a
the
booth,
time
and
about the
they were
greatest
just, like, it was
athletes
just
of
Brotherhood.
all time for their respective sports.
And I was like,
Go down the
gotcha.
list.
Yeah.
The Bonds, the Griffeys, the Willie Mays of baseball. Prior to Brady, it was Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, Jerry Rice. For something like anime, do you feel like in the NBA, conventional wisdom would tell you went Russell and Wilt, and then Magic and Bird, and then number 23 took it and held on to it for as long as any of us born past 1990 have been alive. And while LeBron's amazing career has had a large part of the world reopening the conversation,
right? Like
maybe to a nauseating
it'd
point,
be like if
the more
nobody
intriguing
liked
player
Hero Academia
and the guy
until
who has
it finished and they went, actually, this is really good, you know. But also, My Hero doesn't count for that because it had an explosive start.
Oh yeah, no,
it was really big. I would say though, I think it's more regional too. My Hero was huge in America, but not in Japan. So in Japan, the anime might be considered a cult classic.
I mean, to be fair, he wrote to the style of American superheroes, so that's valid. Like, it's My Hero is literally American superhero
in America.
culture.
At the time of My Hero Academia, also superhero, it was like peak superhero culture in America, right? Marvel was at its peak. Everything we were putting out was superhero related at that point. We had Justice League, we had the Batman. Let's see. My Hero came out when? I think it's 2010, right?
Is it 2010 for real? I thought it was like 2013, 14.
Manga.
Are the manga released or the anime?
I'll do manga first.
Manga might be 2010.
And then I'll go anime.
The anime, I feel like, started right after we got out of high school. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the manga was 2014 because, it wouldn't have been 2010. That's dumb. It finished after Naruto. Or it started after Naruto. Anime, though. And then the anime was 2016, and I remember that because I was at Comic-Con. And I got to see the author. The author showed up.
That's dope.
So, for the first season, produced by Studio Bones, the show ran for 8 episodes, concluded in December. Of 20. No, that's not correct. April of 2016. Yeah, which means Comic-Con of 2016 would have been hyping up My Hero Academia.
I guess with anime
it had that explosive start over here. Yeah, your cult classic. I think you got to think about the region, right?
Region definitely matters.
One Piece is a cult classic in America. Technically,
that's where it's weird to me.
I don't think One Piece is. I think One Piece is more of a cult classic in our country than it is anywhere else.
I also think if you hit a certain level of popularity, I don't think it's possible to define you as a cult classic. So, like, for example, like One Piece and Dragon Ball both, to me, fit that billing, that they got popular. They didn't have, as far as introductory popularity, right, which is kind of what I define in anime for cult classics, is like, if you didn't jump out the gate crazy, but because these stories, the way they're released, it doesn't have to be years after you're done, but it could be just a decent way into your story, right? That's when you pick up popularity. I've never seen anything like Attack on Titan and Naruto as far as day one popularity. To me, they're still the biggest as far as came out the gate, episode 1, boom, 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 we're here, huge fan base already. One Piece and Dragon Ball were a slow burn. Like, One Piece didn't take off with Toonami, even though theoretically thought it should have.
One Piece didn't take off in the States. The anime never really took off.
No, the anime still probably hasn't taken off. I mean, now it's so popular to watch.
But now it's like a meme, right? Like now it's more. It's like, oh, okay, like, what are you, a pussy? Ripped 1,000 episodes, And you're like, okay, that's really funny. I think the manga has always been. I think it's hard to say. I think you can make that argument. I don't love that argument. I just typed in cult classic anime, and the first things that popped up, Akira.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell are two.
1,000%.
Akira and Ghost in the Shell are considered anime classics or cult classics.
Again, I think One Piece and Dragon Ball just got too popular where I'm like, when you're the two largest IPs in the space, despite how you may have started, I'm like, I can't call you a cult classic anymore.
Trigun.
Fuck, that's the only one our friend literally, like, that Trigun is so bad. I don't know.
You don't like Trigun?
I do not like Trigun. I tried really hard.
Amazing.
It was always on Adult Swim. I could not. I know there's a reboot. I don't know if the reboot fixed anything, but not
Here's
a Trigun
fun
person.
One. Samurai Champloo.
Absolutely. That might be the best example. That might literally be the fucking best example. Holy fuck.
Amazing. They say slam dunk.
No, fuck.
This is a really interesting thing. I didn't realize this. Yu Yu Hakusho is considered a cult classic.
That's so... Okay, so here's my problem with any of the Toonami shows. We just didn't get them until they would have technically qualified.
So
we
here's
got
my
all
other
the
thing
Toonami
too.
stuff late.
Again, it's also completely based on... I think region needs to play a big role in it. In the States, Yu Yu Hakusho never hit the same heights as the big three.
No, but it's from the 90s. It never.
This is according to comic book. This is according to CBR.com.
No, it's a. But again,
I think Yu Yu Hakusho is kind of a stretch, but also I lived with you, so.
Yeah, it got it got too popular. B, it debuting to us in like 2003, 2004, when it already existed for several years somewhere else. Like, that's tough to really call it like a cult classic because it technically popped after the fact. It had no choice but to pop after the fact. Toonami's original game plan was, we're just going to take a handful of these shows and we're going to throw them at you guys and just see what works. The shows that get ratings and people watch will keep on. The ones that don't, they get kicked off. Like, like Ghost in the Shell was on Toonami. It did not stay on Toonami.
Yeah.
I think Akira was also on Toonami. Big O was on Toonami. And they got kicked to Adult Swim, and then Adult Swim kicked it off because it was like, nobody's fucking watching this. Like, what are we doing? And those, to me, are different than... Because, like, in that same argument, and I don't think it is, like, because you call Kenshin a cult classic, and only Kenshin's one. Like, they're both, but we got them so late.
It's not.
Like,
Kenshin's not. I'm also looking at this, man. Like, it's hard to tell. I think the oldest anime on this list for cult classics is like the early 2000s. So we won't know what picks back up. We don't know if anything will pick up because, again, we're in the golden age of anime. So
that's fact. There's no reason to pick
how
up
many people.
right
How many people are looking backwards right now? You know what I mean?
Is Assassination Classroom one? Would that qualify to you?
It's too new.
Classroom?
Yeah. That's 2013 to 2016. Too new. I think it will be.
That's fair.
But
I think he's
now,
memed. Koro's like memed his way into like, he's in like those, when they do those big ass collages of like all these big anime characters, and you've got the obvious ones, right? Like you got your Goku, you got your Luffy, you got Naruto, Ichigo, all of them. And then you just see fucking his dumbass face with the fucking yellow ball. Like, he's in all of those pictures. And it's just like,
oh, yeah.
Somewhat, like, he's popular. But
I have a feeling 10, 20 years from now, Assassination Classroom will be a cult classic. Just because people, like, go back and read old stuff and they'll go, what's this weird-ass fucking face, dude? That just keeps popping up randomly in Shonen Jump. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet of what could be coming.
People are gonna One Punch Man is probably going through this. Where like, I think One Punch Man had a chance to be one at some point. Obviously, season 1 did numbers and it was really popular, but the dying down phase. This is the other rule I have for it is like, if we just find out, like if we go back to watch you, but it just turns out it just fucking falls off a cliff, that makes it tough to be a cult classic. So One Punch Man having the decline that it had, even from like its own fan base, even if somebody in 30 years goes back and is like, oh my gosh, One Punch Man season 1 is so fucking good. What happened to the show? Why did no one talk about it? And then you get to season 3 and you're like, oh, I now understand why this show is buried under fucking page 89 of Crunchyroll. I think you disqualify yourself. Like, you got to have a little more weight than just, like, you can't derail. You could be short. Steins Gate is short, but, like, you can't derail and fall on your face. I say that now. If Steins Gate is adding more episodes, who knows what the fuck this episode count is by the end of it.
Well, it's a new anime altogether, so I'd say the OG still stands. But
yeah, absolutely.
They like Shaolin Showdown technically tried doing a reboot that nobody talks about, right? Also, nobody talks about Shaolin Showdown. Unfortunate.
Monkey Staff.
I used to fucking binge that show on YouTube, man, because no one gave a shit. It was always on YouTube.
Hey, man. The shout out to Shaolin Showdown.
And that, like, it was a good, yeah. I watched that show a bunch. It was cool.
I'm going to keep asking these stupid questions. Is Code Lyoko? I don't remember if Code Lyoko ends shitty.
I don't know if Code Lyoko is ever considered good. I liked it as a kid. I refuse to watch it because people go, it's kind of trash. And I'm like, well, everything I saw as a kid I liked. So I can't go back and be like, no, we'll let that one exist in the memory.
That's probably a fair spot for it. That's like, I think it's my end of my...
Cool concept, though. I fucked with the concept.
No.
I also didn't want to be that guy, because you want to talk about weirdos coming out of the woodwork to be like, you like Code Lyoko? That's valid. I'd leave that shit in the closet, brother.
That's 1,000% valid. It's just episode 1 is so bad. Episode 1's like I just always remember, like, you can't watch episode 1 because somebody will walk in on you, and it's like exactly at that scene. And anybody who's watched Code Lyoko, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, if somebody's gonna walk in, like your wife will walk in on you and it's like, oh, what are you watching? Like, oh, wait a minute.
I don't want to know.
It's just like, look, I was trying to see.
Like, that's my other thing too. You can't watch it anywhere, bro.
Yeah,
like, you would think it would be on HBO Max, but it's not. It doesn't exist anywhere. You can buy it on Amazon.
Amazon will sell you anything, man. Amazon will sell you crack.
You get you a friend with a Plex server and then go watch Code Lyoko.
Watch Avatar first and a bunch of other good things before you get to Code Lyoko.
Literally watch anything else, yeah. Make it a bit to never watch Code Lyoko.
And that was another one. Megumi, again, TV they didn't know how, and this is the part
Megumi was fucking hype because we lost WB Network and Megumi picked up all the fucking shows. And they were like, we're going to air it at the most convenient time for children. 3 o'clock.
It was right after school.
3 to 5, right after school. And that's how I watched the end of Shaolin Showdown. That's how I snuck episodes of Code Lyoko. I think, what else was on there? I snuck, like, Totally Spies, too.
Yeah, Totally Spies on there. They had a Gundam show that was on there, but it was, like, a kid version of it. So, like, it wasn't the style of regular Gundam. But there was, like, what was on Megumi? Again, Megumi did what Toonami did, which is, like, we have these shows.
Megumi was Toonami during the week. I was like, let's go.
And they just, but because it's so weird to, like, try to.
If you type in, I didn't even put that together. If you type in Megumi to Google, JJK pops up.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
I got an actress.
Wait, hold on. No, this isn't right. Megumi on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. But they were throwing shit at the wall.
Well,
Megumi.
Wait, that's something. Magoozy was a show. Oh no, wait, hold on. What was this?
They're calling it. Like,
Are we misremembering what it was? It was. Was it Magoozy?
That sounds so stupid. I'm like, I don't want to say that I watched Magoozy. That sounds fucking.
No way it was Magoozy. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Magoozy.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit, dude. It totally was called Magoozy. Wait, hold on.
This is not real. I don't want to believe
I gotta go on YouTube real quick. I don't believe this. I'm just gonna type in Magoozy and see what happens.
While you do that,
Bumpers. Yeah, let's go bumpers. What was it?
The shows that it had include Code Lyoko, Teen Titans, Mega XLR, The Legend, Robot Boy, I don't remember that whatsoever, Team Galaxy, no clue, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is fire, Codename Kids Next Door. They just took all the like semi-violent cartoons and were like, well, this is where they have to be. It also got... Yeah, it literally just took some of the like, Toonami shows that didn't work, and they just tried it at different times. So One Piece was on there at a point, Zatch Bell was on there, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was on there, Rave Master, talk about Justin's personal cult classic. I loved the fuck out of that show. Do I remember what the fuck it is now? No. But your boy had a sword, and he could modify his sword depending on who he was fighting, and it looked cool as fuck. Don't remember how the fuck it worked, I just remember Rave Master looked dope. I'm going to Google Rave Master and find out if that bitch is on Crunchyroll. Shaolin Showdown, Transformers, the Legend Energon. I have no clue what the fuck that is. Other series included Wink Spies, Mucho Libre, Static Shock. Static Shock.
It was fucking Magoozy. I was going through the bumpers, brother. Holy we got to end this podcast.
I dead ass no, because we've talked about this for years. And I dead ass like
it's Megumi. We Berenstein Bears that.
The Life and Times of Juniper Lee. Isn't that the Dragon show?
No, that's Jake Long.
No, the girl who's like a dragon. I know Jake Long. That's Disney Channel. But isn't the Life and Times of Juniper Lee? Isn't like she is a dragon?
Was she also a dragon?
I thought she was also a dragon.
Oh,
she's stuck in her city, and that was like the
Life and Times
heartbreaking
of Juniper
part.
Lee. Are you sure this? I remember this show.
The Life.
Monsters Demons.
Yeah. I have no idea if she's a dragon.
Dude, it's just Jake Long. It's just Cartoon Network Jake Long. It even takes place in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Dude, is this why Americans can't do anything with Asian people unless there's dragons?
With that being said, appreciate everybody as always. Don't forget, check us out. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Wherever you get your bad. That's the title of the episode. It has to be.
Magoozy?
That sounds That's why people make fun of us.
She straight up, I had to go to the fucking bumper, bro. And she goes, Magoozy will be right back. Where the fuck did Megumi come from?
This is why they made fun of us. Is like you can't say you watch Magoozy and sound any kind. Like people will punch you. And say I watch.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Berenstein Bears, bro. I'm about to go into this comment section where the last comment was, 7 days ago. All right, I'm about to be like,
this is.
Hold
insane.
on, I'm posting a comment.
This shit is called Magoozy. What a... Yeah, it's like, Cartoon Network's just trying shit, man. They were like, here's regular cartoons, here's Magoozy, here's Toonami, here's Adult Swim. Like, they were just throwing shit at the fucking walls. Think about pop. No, we'll see. There's not cable anymore. They just couldn't exist in streaming format because they're just fucking Crunchyroll and Cartoon Network's not giving up their app.
I fucking never post a comment. So I'll get back to you to see if people respond to this.
I need the screenshots.
I just put, am I crazy? Why do I remember this block being called Megumi? I will let you know next week if I have never posted a comment on this YouTube channel, or on this YouTube account. So this is my first fucking comment. I'm about to hit Twitter. Just kidding. Anyway.
That's doing AMA. AMA. It's called Magoozy? Question mark. Like,
dude. All right. I'm out of here.
We gotta go, man. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you next week. We should have a chapter next week.
Yeah. See you, dudes.
Hey, man. I appreciate Matt as always. Excuse me. That's our bonus A&M episode. I'm going to play one more video here that I want to get through to you guys before at noon Pacific Standard Time. We are debuting the new scripted series that I have coming out. This one is specifically about Kobe Bryant and why it is impossible to rank him. I do want to we kind of talked about earlier on HardFoul Radio. I do want to revisit some of the Stephen A. Smith stuff. So I am going to play this for you guys. One of my favorite part of the show. Why would he say that? Stephen A., we got a lot to discuss. There's two things here that I think are both asinine, and they're just both right up Stephen A. Smith's alley, and it's why I didn't want to do it today. It's probably going to lead the show tomorrow, but it is why basketball media is in such a dump. Stephen A. Smith is the reason why basketball media is in such a dump. His voice is still too big and too prevalent for the kind of dumb stuff that he says. I have two of them today. The first one is, I always say this, Stephen A.'s first iconic moment on television was him ripping Kwame Brown. If you don't know it, I'd be shocked. If you do know it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hands are too small, don't gotta move, bum, 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 boom, boom, boom. We all know the speech. That was Stephen A.'s breakthrough iconic moment. And ever since then, I really feel like he's been trying to chase that moment. And he can sit there and say, I've done this, I've done that. And you have, Stephen A. Congratulations. But that's by far your that was the moment that transcended and jumped you into superstardom in the sports media space. You've obviously taken that. You've done First Take. You've done NFL stuff. You obviously do the NBA. You've done other stuff. Congrats. And it still comes out when you see stuff like this morning where he goes, as long as First Take is on the air, Ben Simmons is going to catch strays. Why? Why do you have a personal vendetta? Did you pay Ben Simmons? Did the money come out of your pocket? Why do you have a personal vendetta against Ben Simmons where you're going to make sure people know he is the biggest heist in the history of basketball? When it was relevant, fine. When he wasn't playing and there were all these issues accumulating with the Sixers, valid to talk about, valid to discuss. It was topical. It went with the times. It was reasonable. What do you have against Ben Simmons now? Ben Simmons isn't relevant as far as a basketball player, and he's not even relevant enough not trying to be disrespectful here, but he's not even a good context for most arguments and most conversations. But you just gotta get your jab in. You gotta make sure as long as First Take is here, he will always catch strays. Sounds like a you thing. Sounds like you're upset. Sounds like you might have issues. Are you good? Again, when people say, and I know you just went on Gilbert Arenas' thing and talked to Skip Bayless and y'all made buddy about the fact of, well, we didn't ruin sports media, we elevated it. Sure. You elevated it into a space of really loud asshole opinions where, to quote J. Cole, you can get popping because you either dick riding or hating. And we know the people that you do both for. And let's also talk about this, Stephen A. I thought this was insane. I was really gonna stay here with just the need to just constantly attack people that are not relevant to the conversation because again, you keep chasing this Kwame Brown moment that transformed your life. Kawhi had a great All-Star performance. Objective, like there's no other way around. There's a great All-Star performance. Stephen A goes on and says, well, I want to see this in April. I don't care about that. Well, then what do you care about, Stephen A? Because you rip teams for tanking and not taking the regular season seriously, and yet you won't validate the regular season by giving it any kind of meaning in the way that you talk about the game, discuss the game, break down the game. You complained about the All-Stars and how much they've ruined the All-Star game. And then a guy is trying, scores a bunch of points, is playing defense, and you're like, well, I don't care about that either. Show me in April. And don't you think it's a little weird for a guy? It's not like, again, trying to be respectful here, but it's not like it's James Harden, who's got multiple postseasons where we're like, okay, yeah, he needs to be better. He hasn't stepped up. He actually played down. This is a multiple-time champion who has led a franchise all the way to the top. So we don't care about the regular season and the way that we're going to cover the game. Then we don't care about the All-Star game, but we're going to make sure we complain about both. I hate what they're making a mockery of the regular season. Don't you think you make a mockery of it in the way that you cover it? And I'm going to expand on this more tomorrow because it's not just you, but today this is where this segment, this is for you. But there's more than just you. This isn't just your problem. But you are a loud voice in it. So you don't care about the regular season, you don't care about the All-Star game, but you want to complain about the players not caring about both. Then you want to only care about titles, but you don't want to care about, you want to care about how he plays in April. What if he plays great in April and loses? What if the Clippers make the playoffs, Kawhi averages for a series 30 points, plays great defense, but his team loses? Well, if it loses in the first round, how could you lose in the first round? If it's losing the second round, you won a playoff series, but what more else? Get to the conference championship, man, you got close, but you still can't quite deliver. Or you go to the finals and it's, well, you lost in the finals again. What is success in your mind? What is acceptable in your mind? Is only one team allowed to have a great season or feel good about themselves? The way you cover, the way you talk about the game, the way you express yourself. The only person who can feel good about themselves right now in the NBA is SGA, his teammates, the Thunder front office. Everybody else, horrible. Not good enough. You can have opinions, and even if you want to be critical, you can be critical without downplaying everything. That's not exactly win a title, have parades, pop champagne. Like, there's more than one way to do this. And when you criticize at every single point, and then you talk about players not caring, and you criticize them for not caring, but you won't even cover the game in a way where you care about a regular season game. Why don't you care about the Tuesday night game where a guy has a great performance? Why don't you care about the guys who have put these historically great regular seasons together? I remember growing up and the Spurs, one of the stats you always heard about the Spurs and the Mavericks for that matter, and the Suns there for a little bit in the mid-2000s, 50-plus wins several years in a row. That was an accomplishment. It meant something. It had value. Now you win 50 games. Who gives a rip?
I want to kind of elaborate on this a little bit more. So this is one of those things that I've never really been able to figure out. Let me fix this real quick. Oh, don't fall. 1 second. Okay, there you go. Sorry, I had to fix the green screen. This is one of those things I'll never really understand about Stephen A. Smith and other people like him. is that this idea of what does success look like? And they just constantly move the goalpost. They won't commit to anything. They constantly are like, they're just always changing shit around, right? And here's the issue. There was this topic that came out the other day, or last week, or no, that must be 2 weeks ago now. Time's flying. And it was LeBron's time in LA a success? And what defines a success? Is it, being good one day? Is it having one championship? Is it two championships? Is success only based on your expectations? Is success just based on your actual result? The problem with success is that it's similar to the word valuable. We don't really ever agree on an MVP, and that's what makes the narrative kind of fun, because we don't really agree on what valuable is. Valuable has a bunch of different things attached to it. And so does success. If success is based on your expectations, how many teams are successful every year? If success is only based off, did you get it done at the end of the year? We'll only have one team that's successful. I don't fundamentally believe in that. And so one of my goals always is just like, can we, and this sounds so lame and I get it, and it's not something that's going to get like clickbait or the internet all hyped up. Can we just go back to enjoying sports? Like, I remember when the sportscasters looked like they loved sports. Yeah, a team was always losing. Teams have always lost since the beginning of sports. It's competition. But, like, the Stuart Scotts, the Chris Bermans, like, I remember even, like, Dan Patrick back early in ESPN. I don't watch a lot of Dan Patrick stuff now. But, like, I remember and going, oh, they like what they're talking about. They don't just like to criticize the players. They like watching the games. They like the product that is on their TV. They actually like sports. And it's just, I feel that less and less with every single new time we get like a new big time sportscaster, or really even just a new sportscaster in general. And it's like, are you only here to criticize? Like, are you just, I kind of say in that video, and I'm like, that's what I feel like Stephen A does, and a lot of people, because Skip perfected this and it's been very profitable for him and others. Do I just move the criticism goalpost? Am I just going to always say, you did this, but you didn't do this. You did this, but you did that. Because I can always leave criticism, except for exactly the team that wins the title and the MVP of said title game. And I just think that's a really shitty way to watch sports. So I will always watch sports in a way that it's like I actually enjoy watching them. Like, that's just, I don't know any other way to do it besides that. Like, it's, yeah. So, it's about to be noon, so I want to talk about this real quick before we play it. So, I've been working on, I have about 4 of them right now. They do take me a little while to finish, but I have about 4 of them. I have 3 of them definitively done. One that is completing. And it's basically this scripted series that I started where I don't do a ton of scripted content. The reality is I do almost 0 scripted content. And so with that being said, I did want to take the time to be like, hey, let me actually write this out. I am a half-ass writer. I think I write better than I do, but we'll see. You guys will let me know. I used to do a series early on this channel called Appreciating Greatness because I just don't think we do it enough. And this is kind of in those same lines. I did one on Albert Pujols. I did one on Mike Trout. I did one on LeBron James. I've done a few of them, right? And I wanted to do it more than just quote unquote appreciating greatness, but I'll be honest with you, the style probably is very similar. I wanted to take certain sports topics that don't necessarily fit in with the day-to-day sports radio existence, but I think are still necessary conversations and necessary topics to put out there. So let's start with this one, right? This is a guy, in my opinion, and it's going to sound very complimentary because I think it should. I feel like Kobe has become impossible to rank as a player. I think that wherever you had him, I think he has done drastic moving, whether overrating, underrating, etc. Since he last played, since he last was healthy. And this is really the core of it, is like there's so many different versions of Kobe, right? There's young Kobe who didn't play. There's in his prime Kobe. There's Kobe with Shaq. There's in his prime as a dominant scorer at 35. There's Kobe with Powell. Then there is Kobe post the ACL, which almost feels like the end of his career. Then there's the actual end of Kobe's career. Then there's the unfortunate tragedy of Kobe's life. Like, there's all these different what feel like ending points. And it's almost like we all just decided different ending points for Kobe Bryant and said, that's who I think he is, and I will never move off this position. He is either in his prime, I think one of the 2 or 3 greatest players ever. He's got the 5 titles. Or he is the guy who couldn't start as a rookie. Or he is the guy who's quote-unquote inefficient. Like, I try to take a look at all of these while also just celebrating the life of, in my opinion, one of the greatest players ever. So, yeah, let's get to it. So this is, again, and these will start coming out normally on Sundays. This one obviously will show up. It'll be posted on YouTube. My internet's still been kind of giving me some shit, guys. I apologize. I know it was supposed to be fixed. I'm sorry. These will all come out so that there's no issues with the stream. So I already had one issue. These will all come out at the end of the day, including this video. So this is Kobe Bryant, the impossible to rank. Top 10, top 5, greatest ever. We have these debates all the time about the greatest athletes of all time for their respective sports. Go down the list. The Bonds, the Griffeys, the Willie Mays of baseball. Prior to Brady, it was Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, Jerry Rice. In the NBA, conventional wisdom would tell you went Russell and Wilt, and then Magic and Bird, and then number 23 took it and held on to it for as long as any of us born past 1990 have been alive. And while LeBron's amazing career has had a large part of the world reopening the conversation, maybe to a nauseating point, the more intriguing player and the guy who has become impossible to truly rank because there is no longer a true consensus is one Kobe Bean Bryant. During his playing days, you couldn't find a peer of his who didn't call him the best player in the game. We've all heard the famous Stephen A. rant. There's just nothing he can't do. He will defend your best player. He is the best player in the game of basketball. A style of play that resembled Jordan for the old heads. A dominant run throughout the 2000s Western Conference that impacted my age group. Kobe had it all. The style, the accolades, the impossible to ignore cool factor. We've all yelled Kobe while shooting trash into a trash can. So why is he hard to rank? In real time, he was considered by his peers at the top of the league. He has more than enough championships and finals appearances, 5 and 7 respectively, and is one of the greatest scorers and defensive guards the league has ever seen. So what is he missing? The reality when analyzing the career of one of the greatest ever is we all seem to have different context, especially on this player. People that saw him in real time routinely would have him in the top 5, if not the top 3. You saw him eliminate your favorite player or team from the playoffs multiple times, hitting a patented turnaround jump shot to end a series or a game. The look he had running down the court, just knowing he was better than the guy that your team had to guard him. Those moments combined with the overwhelming accolades, again, the 5 championships, a top 3 scorer of all time when he retired, that would easily make anybody a top 5 player ever. But as time passes, and people who never watched him play in real time, or saw him post him tearing his Achilles, they just have a different view of Kobe Bryant. They never saw the real Kobe Bryant. It's not wrong. It's just a different view. The new era of fans are much more analytical, as they would say. Some people, myself included, just call them box score watchers. So they don't view Kobe as a master of a mid-range jump shot. They view him as a guy who wasn't as efficient as the stars of today. They view him as a guy who isn't as efficient as the stars of today. They don't see the turnaround fadeaway game winner to get to another finals or win another series. They see 42% shooting. They don't see a rivalry with Tim Duncan that he dominated head to head. They see Duncan's own incredibly impressive seasons of 50-plus wins and his own 5 titles, while being much more efficient. He was 7 feet tall. They don't see Kobe as a man with 5 titles. They say he only has 2. Shaq carried him to the other 3. This new group of fans, while still appreciating him, have Kobe closer to a top 10, or in my opinion, the crazier take, outside the top 10. A player like Steph, that they saw his whole prime, is more likely to be in their top 5 or 10 than someone like Kobe. Then there is those who are even older, and Kobe has become a victim of his prime coming in between Michael Jeffrey Jordan and one LeBron James. 2 players, admittedly, are better than him. But hey, they're also better than everyone else who's ever dribbled a basketball. This puts Kobe in a weird place. He is essentially the second coming of Mike, but never quite reached those heights. And while he did win all 5 of his championships before LeBron got even one, that combo has also left the stage. LeBron and Michael are better. People don't care what his peers say anymore, because most are no longer in the limelight. They are unk status or old heads. And even someone like Magic Johnson, calling him the greatest Laker ever, has been basically reduced to nothing more than, well, Magic's being nice. Lastly, let's get the hard part out of the way. It is almost impossible to truly rank a player or any person who is great at their craft when they pass in the tragic manner that he did. He was also an icon on top of being an all-time great player. His iconic status has not left and has not changed. His icon status can never truly be understated, because the day that tragic event happened, it truly felt like the world stopped. Grown men trying to play NBA games, crying before tip-off. Multiple media who knew him trying to brave face it on TV, fighting back tears. Even the best player in the world, LeBron James, seen in tears getting off the Lakers plane. Such a surreal moment. Truly a devastating loss for the NBA and all of its fans. To wrap this up, this is what I believe to be undoubtedly true. While we say there will never be another Kobe, we say a lot that there will never be another insert your legend's name here. Kobe is the greatest copycat we've ever seen in sports. He saw the greatest player ever, Michael Jordan, and said, I can do that. And he did it to levels we can never truly understand. And levels of greatness of copying a player of that magnitude to levels we've never seen to this day. That being said, I can confidently say we will never see another Kobe Bryant. One of the biggest icons in the NBA. No, one of the biggest icons in sports. A dynamic defender, all-time elite scorer, one of the greatest winners in NBA history. A player everyone looked up to and wanted to be like, but there was only one Kobe. He transcended the sports world and was bigger than basketball. So wherever you have him ranked, please don't act like a ranking can truly understand one's legacy. There is only one, and will never be another. Kobe Bean Bryant. One of the greatest basketball players ever. Oh, man. That was really fun to write. It was really fun to put together. Like I said, I'm going to be putting those out. This one will come out after today's stream. I'll be putting those out Sunday. My next one is about Steph and his impact on the NBA and the just fundamental changing of how we view, watch, and play basketball. But I felt Kobe needed to be the first one for a multitude of reasons. I do think there is some aspects of, like, and I said it in there, I'm like, his prime and his career essentially being in the middle of LeBron and Jordan, it's tough. Like, the other guys all had room to breathe either before or after. Magic Johnson, obviously, was before, and he's the guy I think is also in that top 4, top 5 space. Somebody like Kareem, obviously, was much before those guys. Somebody like Wemby is going to be after them. I think he's going to be able to put himself in those kind of conversations by the time his career is all said and done. Kobe's right in the middle. And so that makes it even tougher where it's like, okay, we know he's not quite Michael. We know he's not quite LeBron. But he still is one of the greatest players we've ever seen, and that needs to be respected. The level of play that he reached, his ability to play the game of basketball, we just haven't seen it, and it's just, and I think it sucks too because, like, the narrative is, well, he was overrated immediately after passing. That, like, people had him in this top 3 conversations. When he was playing, people out of in top 3 conversations. Whether that was right or wrong, like, that was a real thing. He has somehow become overrated and underrated since passing. Because now, I think, like, they've put out lists where he's not even in the top 10. And I'm like, there's not 10 players who play basketball better than Kobe Bryant did. There's just not. I think the centers honestly need to be on a slightly different scale because they've got the ultimate skill, which is they're 7 feet tall, and that has dominated basketball for as long as basketball's existed. But if we're just talking guys, let's just go 6'10" and under, right? So that eliminates from where Kobe is, it eliminates Kareem, Duncan, and Shaq. If you don't have those 3, Kobe's definitively in your top 5, and he's definitively in your top 3. Because then it's just I think the only non-centers better than Kobe that have a real argument, it's just Jordan, LeBron, and Magic. And I know I said it in the video, and I don't think Magic was on the wrong trajectory when he said Kobe was the greatest Laker ever, because he just saw what he could do as a one-man engine. And Magic, obviously, because he was a point guard, it's different. He needs his teammates. He's passing the ball. He's assisting. It's a different style of being effective than Kobe. And in a one-on-one game, Magic's probably like, well, yeah, Kobe beat me one-on-one. I'm not a one-on-one player. But
you take that. Again, I don't think the opinion of Magic Johnson should just be dismissed so easily, which I feel like it has been. Kobe was the man. And again, if you're somebody who watched in the 2000s, watched during his prime, like, you've seen your team lose to Kobe Bryant. You just have. Whether it was the Shaq team, the Powell team, like, and I know accolades matter. They 1,000% do. But accolades and context also have to matter. I've never understood the argument for Kobe that, well, we can't truly appreciate all his titles because Shaq was the best player. He is also only a one-time MVP, even though we know at no given point was Steve Nash, who won MVP, a better player than Kobe. Dirk, who won an MVP, at no point was better than Kobe. Duncan, who got an MVP, he's in that conversation. To me, when you get to the list of ranking the greatest players ever, Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, I think are the top four, pretty definitive. I think that's your two greatest players, your greatest guard, and your greatest center, greatest big man. I then think number 5, also just real quick clarification, I know Bill Russell and Wilt have to be somewhere in the top 10. It's just so impossible for me to rank them. The sport was so different. I didn't watch them. Like, it's just, they're tough, right? So I'm excluding them from this exercise. But I think Mike, who's 1, Bron's 2, Magic is 3, Kareem is 4. I then think it's either Kobe or Duncan for 5. And depending on the argument, I'm willing to hear both. Like, I'm willing to hear the argument Duncan should be 5. I'm willing to hear the argument Duncan should be that Kobe could be 5. Speaking of this, let's watch. We're going to do some reacting here, man, because this is all with the surprise new content hour. And we're kind of mixing this in with why would he say that in real time. So we're going through and reacting to a bunch of different things said. And this one I know was controversial. Let's talk about it. Kobe was, because it works with our video as well. Let's see. So this is Nick Wright, who I did defend earlier. So this is not me just shitting on Nick Wright. I defended him earlier. But this is his opinion, his video he put out of why Kobe was never the best player in the game. Let's take a look. Let's go. If I can find where the hell I'm at. This one? Yep, here we go. Okay.
Sam said, how far can an individual player go up the all-time ladder without ever being the best in the world?
Well, if you're talking literally like how high up is the highest guy who was never the best in the world, or if you're asking theoretically, the answer is a guy, just from a logical perspective, could end up being the second best player of all time and never be the best player in the world if his career directly aligns exactly with the greatest player of all time. You understand what I mean? Like, let's just alternate universe where Carmelo Anthony is the second greatest player ever. And same draft, I obviously believe LeBron's greatest player ever. Same draft class as LeBron. They could play for the same amount of years, all of it, and just he never, passes that guy. So in theory, the answer is, I guess, second.
So that's correct, and that's valid. It is... The problem with this first part here, we haven't gotten to the Kobe aspect of it, but the problem with this part too is, like, we don't compare eras, and it's so impossible to compare eras, like, even you could argue correctly, that even if you think LeBron is the greatest ever, it's like, okay, well, what makes him the greatest ever? It's like, well, he was the number 1 scorer ever. It's because even someone like LeBron's points, right? Very few people, I don't think anyone realistically has the opinion. I know it makes good TV, but I don't think anyone actually has the opinion LeBron's the greatest scorer ever.
I just don't think that is something that people that watch basketball genuinely believe. But he has the most points ever. I think you could be, and so it's like if you're Wilt Chamberlain and you have every record imaginable at the time you retire, like most points ever, most rebounds, and Wilt's going to keep the per game stuff literally forever. How do you compare that then to somebody like LeBron, who it's like, okay, you both have titles, but neither of you have the most. That's obviously Russell with 11, and then you get to like the other Celtics with 8 or 9, and then you get Jordan with 6. And then how do you equate that? Like, yeah, technically speaking, if you just go, I'm the second best player during the time, that's valid. But like, how do you then use that to compare eras where someone from an era could have a better resume, or you have a better resume than them, but your eras need context? So,
as far as on my list, and man, this will be something I'm telling Paul right now. Use your judgment on. This will get aggregated, clipped, and it will do numbers. People get so mad at this take, but the problem with this take is I know it is correct. And it's why but it is so, it makes people so mad that I don't really lean into it because I don't really have the, what's the word? I just sometimes get tired of arguing about it. But greatest players ever. Let me just, Bron, Kareem, Michael, Russell, Magic, Wilt.
Okay, can we start here for a second? And this is the problem with Nick Wright's sports takes, and I believe this. He could disagree with this. It's just the truth. And there's old tweets and old clip, like his digital footprint also exists. If Nick Wright likes you for whatever makes him like you, I'm not here to judge what makes him like people or not. He will then talk about your sports career 1,000% differently. And he has, and it's been, my opinion is that because it has been very lucrative and very successful for him to plant himself on these, like, this is the greatest ever and it has success. And as long as it's successful, I'm successful. So, like, I'm the LeBron guy. And LeBron keeps making the finals, so my name stays in rotation. He is genuinely a Chiefs fan his whole life, so he kind of got lucky with that. It was a perfect blend of the Chiefs got ultra successful and ultra polarizing to talk about, and he's been a lifelong fan. Kareem is not better than Michael Jordan. LeBron, if you want to have the argument, fine. I think there's some compelling, or I think there's actually some fun conversations to be had there. Unfortunately, no one has it in a fun way. Kareem is not better. And the other problem before we really deep dive into this is that we know because of his digital footprint, Nick Wright does not like Kobe Bryant. He did not like Kobe Bryant when he was alive. Well, he is, and I think Nick is, I said this earlier, he's actually a good person. So I think he had true compassion when the tragedy happened because I believe him to be a good person. But he did not like Kobe Bryant, the player, person. Again, the digital footprint will kind of suggest both. And so that then is going to reflect what he is going to say, in my opinion, of looking at this as like, you, because you don't like the person, you're willing to make this take, even though the logic, I already know this video, but like the logic is backwards. And
Duncan,
Kareem's not over Jordan. He's
Kobe.
also, being a LeBron guy and that being so helpful for his career, has decided to become semi-anti-Jordan. He even does it like a bit on his show, which works for the show. It's a funny bit where he's like, most to lose, it's always Michael Jordan. Like, he has just made that a part of his personality, which is fine. It's entertainment, it's creativity, it's a character. Cool.
So I guess the answer is number 8. Because Kobe's the 8th greatest player ever, and he was never the best player in the world. I know people get mad at that take, but here's the problem, and the reason Kobe was never the best player in the world. Because once Kobe got great, call it 99, he wasn't great yet, but I'll give him 90. Once you started seeing flashes, from 99 until 2002, Shaquille O'Neal was the best player in the world.
Absolutely. Okay, this part, 1,000% correct. Shaq was the fucking man. You can argue, and again, there's actual fun sports creative conversations to be had in terms of like who was more, like the whole Kobe Shaq dynamic. There's a reason why they're the greatest duo ever. They were both great, but Shaq was definitively the best player in 902. I'm rolling with him.
And then from 2003 until 2007, Tim Duncan was the best player in the world. You know how I know Tim Duncan was the best player in the world at that time? Because he won 3 championships in 5 years. He won 2 MVPs. He was the best player.
Okay, remember that logic. 3 titles in 5 years, 2 MVPs. Remember that. 3 titles in 5 years, 2 MVPs. And I'm willing to concede this part. I don't think it's as definitive because I think Kobe and Duncan, their careers being so parallel, I think, and hell, even in 03, when's KG's MVP? 04? I think there's even arguments of like when, like Kevin Garnett had an argument of like he might be the best player in the world. Historically, it doesn't look like that because Kobe and Duncan are higher than KG historically, but in real time, we could have had an argument. But I'll give you 03 to 07. But the logic being 3 titles and 2 MVPs. Bet.
He was the best player until that 48 special by LeBron in 2007. LeBron was the best player in the world from that moment until 2018.
And here we go. So here's where it's now. Look. This is, well, the 48-point special is one of the craziest things we've ever seen a 22-year-old do. Like, it might be the craziest thing we've seen a 22-year-old do since until Wemby did what he did in Game 1. Like, that is how amazing it was to watch LeBron. And again, LeBron's a better player than Kobe. I give you that. LeBron's the best player ever. That's totally valid. The problem with this take is that in that 2008, and this is the thing he won't discuss. He didn't bring it up. He's like, well, yeah, Kobe did go on to he went to 3 straight finals, won 2 of them, got an MVP. But the reality is I already saw what LeBron did, so I just knew LeBron was better than him. And I'm like, well, if LeBron was better than him, can we just be fair here for a second? I want to be factual. We don't need to see all my stuff. Let's just be factual. Okay? 2009 NBA standings. I just want to be factual, right? Let's just be factual for a second. So Lakers, here we go. Lakers got 65. And the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Cavs got 66. So LeBron had 66 wins. Holy shit. The Cavs won 66 games. Isn't that incredible? The Lakers won 65 games. Now, the Lakers have an 11-game lead over second place. The Cavs played a tougher Eastern Conference. Only 4 games better than the Celtics. Both won 60-plus games. Cool. The 2009 NBA playoffs. Can we see how did that work out? Okay, these are the NBA finals. This is apparently not as good Kobe Bryant with a less wins team than the LeBron James, and yet he beat that Magic team that, if I remember, Dwight Howard 40-piece LeBron and beat them in 5 games, 6 games? I'm just being factual here. If we're going to be factual. Are we being factual? What about the 2008 playoffs? Oh, we need to actually. What about the 2008 playoffs? Okay, this is okay, Boston won 4-2. Bet. Okay. Same Celtics team. They beat the shit out of the Lakers. They beat the shit out of LeBron. Okay, cool. This is Kobe's MVP year. Let's go to the 2010 playoffs. Okay. This is, again, Lakers win 4-3 in 7. Was it Kobe's best game? No. But if you watch this game in real time, these teams are both exhausted. They're both beating the shit out of each other. Also, let's look at these scores. 89-67 in Game 6. They held the Celtics to 60 with 3 Hall of Famers and Rondo. We'll see where he ends up. Like, okay, what did the Cavaliers do against the Celtics? So we got Phoenix. Damn, Tim Duncan also, by the way. Better than Kobe Bryant. Got swept by the Suns. Interesting. So playoffs here. I want to go all the way. I want to get the whole thing. Let's get the whole picture. Wow, what a day. Wow. Anyway, I want to do the whole thing. Let's not do the whole thing. Semifinals, Lakers, Jazz, Cleveland, Boston. Look, Boston's tied. Cleveland leads 2-1. Series tied 2-2. Then Boston 3-2 blew out the Cavs. And then Boston 4-2. So that same team, both times, the Celtics and the Magic, that beat clearly better LeBron James, and Kobe beat both of them in the finals? That's just interesting to me. One of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history. Boston wins theirs 4-2. LA wins 4-2. So they both went 6 in the conference finals. So one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history is LeBron, Kobe in the NBA finals. And yet the logic here, I'm not trying to emphasize his forehead. I know that's mean. I'm sorry. I have a big forehead too, Nick. That clearly better LeBron James lost to both teams that Kobe's team eliminated in the playoffs. So Kobe gets 2 rings and an MVP, but he's clearly not better than LeBron. And LeBron then said, hey, I'm not good enough with my team, so I'm going to go join the Heat, and then I'm just going to lose to the Mavericks, who, in fairness, Dirk did beat Kobe that year as well in one of the greatest playoff runs of all time. I understand.
So it was Shaq, it was Duncan, it was then Bron. At no point was Kobe the best player in the world. 8th greatest player ever, never the best player in the world. People get very mad at me. Show me the year. Show me the season.
The problem with this take, too, the way he phrases it, is then you canonically take Giannis out of the best player in the world conversation. Like, you're going to be able, someone is going to be the Nick Wright in 20 years and be able to say, well, if you look at it, actually, the only person, because we went LeBron and the Warriors, going back-to-back all these finals, and then we hit this weird sense of parity in the NBA, where like Toronto gets a title and Golden State snatches a title and Boston gets a title and the Nuggets win a title. And no one was able to grab, because we do, when it comes to best in the world, titles matter. I gave up my Jokic defense because I'm like, okay, I got 3 straight years of you getting whooped earlier than you should in the playoffs. You don't have the unanimous belt. And as great as I think Wemby is, even if Wemby wins a title this year, and let's say the next 2 to 3 years the Spurs get bounced early, Wemby won't just unanimously hold the belt for the best player on the planet. Like, you have to have the success to go along with that title. So if you were going to then say, well, Milwaukee's got 1 title, OKC only got 1 title, Boston only got 1 title, Warriors got 1 title, there was no true definitive champion who was just running through the league. The best player had to be the guy who was winning all the MVPs. So that must have been Nikola Jokic. So historically in 20 years, Giannis was definitively the best player in the world. Definitively the best player in the world. And that 50-point piece, boom. Got a title, 50 in the NBA Finals, best player on the planet. But then all you've got is the great Steph series. You've got you've got that Celtics run. You're going to have the OKC. You're going to have all these one-time runs, and all those guys are going to have an argument. I was the best player in the world while this was going on. So are we going to erase Giannis out of history? SGA, who, again, SGA, I think, SGA's argument is going to be hard because, yes, I think last year people still think Jokic was the best player alive. And then if Wemby wins the title, it's going to feel like it went Jokic to Wemby. But if SGA wins this title, he deserves best player alive, especially if he beat Jokic last year and Wemby this year. And his claim is, you brought all these 7-foot monsters and 7'5" monsters who can shoot, dribble, play defense, block shots, do all this stuff, and I still beat him. He's going to have a right to that title. Tony thinks he is the best in the world. And that's not an invalid opinion. It's just, again, I know Tony thinks he's the best in the world. Are we going to remove Giannis from history? Are we going to remove like all these, like, that's the biggest argument. But because it's easy to use with Kobe for him, because again, digital footprints exist, he doesn't like Kobe Bryant. And that's fine. I'm not saying you got to like Kobe Bryant. Everyone's entitled to like who they like, whatever his personal reasons are, his personal reasons. But let's be fair when it comes to logic here.
Tell me when he was. And people will be like, what about 2006? It's like, well, I don't know. Best player in the world, losing round one. What about 2007? I don't know. Best player in the world, blow a 3-1 lead in round one. What about 2005? I don't know. Best player in the world, missed the playoffs? Probably not. So the answer is Kobe. Next.
I know, Ball. What's your take on the delay causing voters to change?
Here's the other problem with this. He did, and he loves doing this, and I love First Thing First as a show, and objectively, it does what he needs, which is take somebody who is snarky, thinks he's smarter than you, that personality, which is, again, some remnants of that like old Skip Bayless formula. He's not quite as bad as it. But then you put them in a funny environment. And you're like, oh, he's not an asshole. We're all laughing, and it's a joke, and it's haha. And he needs that. Because if he was a one-on-one personality, I know people don't like him already, he would be the most hated voice in sports media, besides maybe Stephen A., if he was on a solo show. The problem with that argument is he brought up a whole bunch of points that people wouldn't argue. I don't think the argument was 05, 06, 07 against Duncan. I think the year he averaged 35, there's probably in real time some people who would say it. But again, I do think missing the playoffs, the early first-round exits would disqualify you. But then just go the next 3 years. You avoided the 3 years that would have a real heart of the argument. So what are we doing here? You're like, hey, I'm not going to discuss the actual thing because that might be more than I want to deal with. That might be, I don't have a real defense against those. So I'm going to bring up this other thing and make it sound like, oh, my defense is ironclad. Those aren't the years in question. I'm not arguing for 05, 06, 07, Kobe. I'm arguing for 08 through 10 when your best player alive was getting beat by the teams Kobe was beating. Kobe won an MVP. He got 2 titles. He made the finals 3 years in a row. Oh, but he got blown out in one of the finals. Did you think LeBron wasn't the best player in the world when he got blown out by the Spurs? I'm pretty sure that's still the largest defeat for a series margin victory in NBA Finals history. Do we think LeBron wasn't the best player? No, of course LeBron was still the best player then. So, my response to it was just stupid. Like, this is just a bad argument. Like, it's fine. You don't gotta like Kobe. If you want to go best players alive, I agree with them on Shaq from 99 to 02. Duncan, I'd give him 03 to 07. I uniquely, and this is my own personal thing, because I don't think it has to be some linear line, honestly. I think certain years are such great outliers that it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're the best player for the entirety of your prime. I would probably sneak KG in there for a year. I think his MVP season was so special, what he was able to accomplish. So, like, I would probably go 99 to 02 Shaq. I'd give 03 Duncan. I'd probably give 04 KG. Duncan reestablishes himself 05 to 07. I'd give Kobe 08 to 10. And then I would give LeBron 11 to probably about 18 when Giannis did it. When Giannis broke through the wall that was the Miami Heat, literally creating a wall, giving him playoff failures more than successes. He beat the Suns, which was not that Suns team doesn't look great historically. Like DeAndre and Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, an older Chris Paul, like they don't look great historically, but that was a great Suns team. Yeah, man, I think that Giannis got it, but Kobe had the belt. Like, and again, it's not just a did you play or did you not think, but go listen to the guys that had to play against Kobe in real time, including LeBron James, and listen to how they talked about Kobe Bryant. Like, this is Kobe fucking Bryant, guys. Come on now. What's another? Again, this is our why would he say that in real time? These are going through and just like reacting to the kind of shit people say. And again, I'm gonna laugh at myself here too. We're gonna have HardFoul throughout the years here in a little bit as well. So again, hope everybody liked the Kobe video. Took me a while. It will be posted on the official YouTube channel here at the end of the stream. So appreciate that. What's another terrible take that's been trending? We already kind of broke down the whole mob boss thing with Stephen A. Smith, and it was funny enough, Stephen A. versus Nick Wright. And I gave Nick Wright credit. Nick Wright, I think, is actually a good person. The problem is his sports takes are just awful, but both him and Stephen A. Smith's sports takes are awful, so it is what it is. Let's see. Who said something horrible today? I know Jason McIntyre filled in for Colin today, and I have no interest to ever talk anything about Jason McIntyre. So he is somebody who just figured out how to monetize sports. He does not like sports. It's really unfortunate. Let's see. Colin, what did I disagree with Colin from last week? What did Colin say that was outrageous? Colin. Oh, here we go. They'll love this one. We're going to talk quarterbacks. This I thought.
Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Top 10. He doesn't have a lot of career momentum. He's had now 2 major injuries. If you've struggled in the playoffs, it's hard to win playoff games. Go, minute.
This is Colin's top 10 QB list. Let's take a look at this.
24. You got to start hot and end well. Maybe your story arcs don't connect in the middle a little, but if you start well, you end well. Usual suspects. Probably going to end up being a really good movie. And I said with Sam Darnold, it is hard to unsee the Jets. But there's 3 things to me that matter for a quarterback. Because the league changes year to year. I'm not going to punish it too much if you've struggled in the playoffs. It's hard to win playoff games. Go look at Bill Parcells' playoff record. It's hard to win in the playoffs. First thing I look at is production. I need touchdowns. I need yards. I need mobility. I need you to be, at least at some level, elevate others. Can you get the ball to your stars at minimum? Production. Second thing, durability. You got to be available to play. The third thing, and this is really a key to me, what is your current momentum? Are you an ascending player? C.J. Stroud is not. Are you a leader? You are loved in the locker room. You are respected. You are ascending. You are a winning player. You are going in a direction. So production, durability, and what is your current momentum? Age matters, but Matt Stafford just won the MVP at 37. I'm not saying who I'm going to build around for 5 years. I am saying right now, production, durability, and where is your momentum? That is your top 10 quarterbacks. So I'm going to give you a few quickly who did not make the cut, but I think are very, very good. But we got 32 teams, and we've never had more talented quarterbacks. Okay, this is the golden age of quarterbacks. So here's a couple that won't make it. Dak Prescott's very good. He falls just outside of the top 10. He doesn't have a lot of career momentum. He's had now 2 major injuries, lower body injuries, 7-9-1 last season. Never been a great playoff quarterback. Not the end of the world. He's close, but he won't make it. Jaden Daniels. Oh, what a great rookie year. Well, he got hurt last year, and that's always been his reputation. He got banged up his first year. He missed 10 games last year, and he wasn't good before the injury. His passer rating was in the 80s. So I think he's super talented, but he's not going to make my top 10. This one's going to hurt. Jalen Hurts. No career momentum. Cannot get the ball to A.J. Brown. Cannot see over the middle of the field. They scored fewer points than the New York Giants.
So far, by the way, I'm posting really quick on socials. So far, I'm kind of rolling with him. Jaden Daniels, I probably have outside my top 10, especially if we're impacting momentum. Dak is probably like the entryway to get into the top 10. Dak is a really, really good quarterback. But he does, like, he's just not quite there. But he is really good. He is like the best quarterback you can have. Like, I don't think you could be bad with Dak Prescott. So far, I'm kind of rolling. The Jalen Hurts stuff, yes, momentum kills Hurts. I would give him the same kind of logic that I do when it comes to Sirianni, where you have to acknowledge his career and what he's done. But if we're asking for momentum right this day, I think there's absolutely a really strong argument I would not take Hurts. So,
Lions last year that had a worse total offense than the Saints. He had fewer passing yards than Jacoby Brissett, and he had 4 more starts with a stacked roster. I'm sorry, folks. The momentum is not good. Another, Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love a lot. He is all over the map. He gets hot, but he's been injured in back-to-back years. Not for a long time, but banged up. And I got like 8 games over 100 passer rating and 6 games, under 90. He's too inconsistent. I also am not going to have Trevor Lawrence on the list for the same reason. Trevor just turns the ball over too much, and he's very streaky. He wasn't very good to start last year. He was red hot to end it. Then he goes home, playoff game against Buffalo, and there's nothing. I don't know what I get week to week. Liam Cohen essentially saved his career, and I was the world's biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. And another guy that's close but won't make it is Baker Mayfield. Again, very good. 3-8 his last 11 games last year. Way too many turnovers.
Trevor's tough because Trevor falls into this weird category of like, he is clearly talented. Like, he's the most talented guy that like he's brought up. Like, he's more talented than Dak. He's more talented than Baker. He's more talented than Hurts. He's more talented, in my opinion. Like, it is tough though. I would like to see Liam Cohen was. I don't know if he was career saving at the time him and Trevor Lawrence got together. But I also think that you have to view that with, I would like to see 6 more games. I would like to see, how does Trevor start next year? And is what he and Liam Cohen, I think it is, but is what he and Liam Cohen started to do, is that consistent?
Leads the NFL in picks since 2018. So again, Jordan, these are good quarterbacks, but they miss.
I didn't mention Jordan Love. I'm iffy on Jordan Love. I don't have near as high of opinion on Jordan Love as everybody else does, but he's got results and you can't take those away from him. I just think Jordan Love is some of this is too, I think, the way I view his contract. He is like the worst young quarterback contract in NFL history. He does, because they didn't play him early, which is fine. They developed him, which maybe is why he turned out to be as good as he was right away. But because of that, you paid him after only seeing him play 8 games. So you never got like that stacked roster with him where you got to take the most advantage of the rookie quarterback salary cap. And so it makes it tough. Like, almost all quarterbacks get that little boost because early in their career, they get to play the stacked roster essentially because you have all this money. Because even though you're paying guys, if you're not paying exactly a quarterback or now maybe a number 1 wide receiver, nobody else makes enough money on the roster where you can have real financial flexibility. And so that one's tough. But shout out to Jordan Love, man. I just wouldn't have him top 10 either.
It's the cut.
So
There's either
so far I'm with Colin in all of these.
Injuries, there's inconsistencies, there's turnovers. Again, my standard is production, durability, and current momentum. So here's how I would rate currently the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Number 1 is Josh Allen. And you can say what you want about the GM. You can say what you want. They don't have a Super Bowl. I'm not going to punish him. He's been very good in the playoffs. He's won 70.
Wait a minute. Josh Allen's been very good in the playoffs. It's become one of those, like, some people are finally starting to deep dive it. He is great against 7 seeds. He is okay against everybody else. because they've consistently been the 2 seed more years than not. They've been beating up on they beat up on rookie Bo Nix. They beat up on the Pittsburgh Steelers with, I forget who even the Steelers quarterback was. He's great in that game exactly. He's got the one all-timer against Mahomes. Otherwise, Allen is Allen is objectively a turnover machine in the playoffs. If you are not the 7 seed, Josh Allen is not. He is an overrated player performer. Again, I said this on HardFoul Radio. The guy behind Colin Cowherd is the best quarterback in football. And I hate the Chiefs because of the division rivalry. Can't stand him. But he's the guy until we see some massive, massive drop-off. And while I do think there has been a drop-off, I don't think it's massive enough to close the gap because his resume is just so far out of here compared to everybody else. I can't do that yet. So Allen being one, I get it. It's 15 is the best quarterback in the world, man.
Percent of his games with a defensive head coach that most of you didn't like. 7 straight years with 10-plus wins. I'm sorry, folks. He's been better than Mahomes 2 straight years. Patrick Mahomes would be number 2 despite his injury. It's the first injury of note in his career, and reportedly he's going to be back in September. Each of his first 7 years led the Chiefs to a division title and the AFC Championship. That's very LeBron in the East. Sorry, don't get recency bias. He's amazing. Number 3, Caleb Williams. Do you know what his numbers are the first 2 years?
Okay. Let me hear his argument and then I'll respond.
47 touchdowns, 13 picks, never hurt. Never hurt in high school, never hurt in college, never hurt in the pros. Got hit more than any quarterback in the league rookie year. Not missing a snap. Unbelievably durable. Makes throws that only Josh Allen can make. He's number 3. Number 4.
Okay. 47 and 13, right? Okay. I like Caleb Williams and I like Chicago. I know for some reason this has been like my, you fake like Chicago because anytime Caleb gets brought up, it's like, I just don't think that if you're the 3rd best quarterback in football, you should be the least accurate quarterback in football. That's all. And if our argument for Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, Trevor's a great comp for Caleb because they were both generational prospects. They were both clearly considered the number 1 pick in their draft. Their talent is insane. They might be 2 of the 5 most talented quarterbacks actively playing, and that's including Mahomes and Allen. But then why aren't we giving Caleb, if we're going to rip Trevor, because Caleb, why did I just blank on the Jaguars coach? Liam Cohen came in and, quote-unquote, saved his career. Why isn't that same criticism valid for Caleb Williams? Did Ben Johnson not come in and totally reinvent? The sack numbers went drastically down. I don't know. I like Caleb a lot. I think the Bears legitimately, if they can figure it out defensively, have a real chance to compete for a Super Bowl this year and next year. I don't think he's the 3rd best quarterback in football yet. Why is he better than Lamar? Can we just answer that? Why is he better than Lamar Jackson?
Again, not great in the playoffs, Justin Herbert. Worst offensive line in the NFL. Made the playoffs. That is insane. He is beloved in the locker room. He is you could argue, he and Lamar Jackson are the most loved players in the NFL in their respective locker rooms. Missed only 6 starts in his career, which is confounding because he's never had a good O-line. Justin Herbert.
If man. Okay. Herbert is, he's probably talent-wise, he probably closes out that top 5, right? It's probably Lawrence, Caleb. I'm not ordering these in order, but just the 5 guys. It's probably Lawrence, Caleb. No, actually, I got to throw Lamar in there. Lamar, he's probably right. He's number 6 then probably. Is Herbert more talented? Anyway. Here's the other thing about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert holds on to the ball a really long time. I've watched him play a lot. He plays in the Broncos division. And again, I hate the Chargers, but I can acknowledge this. He's insanely good. There's no doubt about that. You also can't be, there is a difference of, I don't care about the success in the playoffs. And like, what if it's not just success, but it's objectively horrifying and terrible? What if I'm going to get you to the playoffs 3 times? Okay, what are you going to do? Well, the first one, I'm going to get you a 30-point lead. Okay, awesome. And then I'm going to blow it. Okay. What about the second time? I'm going to get us the best matchup we can. A reeling team who, yeah, they got a really good defense, but their offense couldn't do shit. Like just an awful offense. Okay, that's awesome. We just gotta move the ball a little bit and get some points. We could win this game just getting field goals. Okay, great. Sounds great. So what are we doing? I'm going to throw 4 interceptions. In a year where I only threw 3 all regular season, I'm going to throw 4 in the playoffs. Okay, cool. What's next? I'm going to get us a third matchup in the playoffs against a team that's got a quarterback making his first start. They don't got any real playoff experience. It's basically a brand new team. Yeah, they had a really good regular season, but it was strength of schedule merchants, man. They were beating all the bad teams. They didn't beat too many good teams. I don't know if they beat any good teams. Okay, I like it. What are we going to do? I'm going to get you 6 points heading into the fourth quarter. Justin Herbert doesn't have bad playoff games. Justin Herbert doesn't have a lack of success in the playoffs. He has objectively horrifying playoff performances, and all of them have been. He can't be number 4. Again, why are any of these guys above Lamar?
Number 5, Matt Stafford. I mean, listen, I know he's old. I know he's not mobile. He just won the MVP. Well, what do you want me to say? They're favored to win the Super Bowl. I mean, he's taken a bunch of mid-round guys. Puka Nacua, 5th round, made him a star. So I'm not building this for 5 years. He is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL tonight.
Listen, I said Stafford was the top 5 quarterback in the NFL a year and a half ago, and Tony and Will laughed at me so hard. I'm pretty sure I still have psychological trauma from it. And I still believe Stafford has an argument as the top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That being said, again, I can't have Herbert in here. I can't have Caleb yet. You haven't even brought up Lamar. Burrow, I think is still better than it's
today. Number 6, and I think he's honestly on any given Sunday the best player in the league, Joe Burrow. Burrow's durability is a big problem, and you want him to win more. But I will say it again. I'm not sure on a 4th and 7, trailing by 4 in a Super Bowl, if there's a guy I want at quarterback more than Joe Burrow. I think he is one of the great all-time talents. He got saddled with a cheap owner and a minimalist front office. Highest completion percentage and 3rd highest passer rating all time with terrible O-lines. He's an insane all-time talent. You have to contextualize his career. So I'll put him at 6. If he had Stan Kroenke and Andy Reid, he'd be number 1.
Okay, so here's my problem with Burrow, and I do think Burrow's better than Herbert. I think Burrow is better than Caleb right now. When I made my Stafford as top 5 case, I had Burrow out of the top 5 because I think I went Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stafford, and I think I had Hurts in there too because right after the Super Bowl win. And he's better than Hurts, but, we all kind of get caught up in the moment. Hurts beat the hell out of the Chiefs. So, look, Hurts is always good money in my book. I think with Burrow is it's so polarizing because his career, yes, I think being drafted by the Bengals is pretty categorically a negative. I also think we can't just call it a negative when he has some of these amazing passing stats, and it's because he's got the best 2 receivers. He's had the best receiver combination in football for years now. So, yes, the O-line's not great, the team's hasn't been good, and the ownership is awful. But we have to contextualize both ways then. You can't just only count the bad in a positive light for him, but not count the good.
Number 7, Lamar Jackson. First time he really got hurt. I love him. He doesn't play like anybody. He doesn't move like anybody. Second, he has the highest passer rating. 2 MVPs, highest passer rating in NFL history. And everybody's like, I don't know if he's a great pocket passer. I don't know. The analytics guys like him. Highest win percentage by any quarterback in league history not to make a Super Bowl. Again, I'm not going to crush guys because they don't win enough playoff games. I'll elevate you if you do. I'm not going to crush you if you don't. Number 8.
So Lamar should be higher. Everything else is absolutely correct. And Lamar has that unique ability of, like, he just does look different. The same way Mahomes, when he's really out there, he just looks different. Allen looks different. You know the guys who are just beyond fucking special. And Lamar's in that class.
Drake May. Bad O-line, hit and miss run game, got to a Super Bowl. Finally going to get A.J. Brown, a number 1 wide receiver. That's what's being reported. I think I think you'll see how special he is. Led the NFL in completion percentage, yards per attempt, and passer rating at 23 with a bad O-line in front of him. Number 9, the most.
So I think with Drake, the only other opinion I have here is whatever your opinion of Drake May is, I think you need to make sure you keep it for about 5 weeks into the season because I think he's going to get off to a really rough start. I don't know if the chemistry will be there immediately for him and A.J. Brown. The Patriots have a fucking really tough first 4 to 5 games. There's a real chance they are 1-3, 2-4. They obviously had a very noisy offseason just with their coach. So whatever your opinion of Drake May is, like, I would probably buy Drake May stock. I'm just gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna buy Drake May stock in week 5 because I think it's gonna be lower. Because I think they're gonna have a losing record. I think he's not gonna have this amazing completion percent. 73% is incredible. I don't think it's really sustainable unless you're playing really bad teams all the time. So I think his completion percentage will go back down to the high 60s, which is still really, really good. So I'm going to buy my Drake May stock in week 5 as my prediction.
Disrespected player in the league, Jared Goff. All he does is win. He's the only quarterback in the league, the only one. 4 straight seasons with 4,000 plus passing yards. And strangely, never misses a start. He and Caleb Williams, they don't get hurt, ever. High school, college, pros, they don't get hurt. I've seen him get ragdolled in college and the pros. He doesn't miss starts. Dad was a pro baseball player, got some good genetics. Dude just takes shots and is never hurt. And number 10, 35-10 in his last 45 starts, Sam Darnold. Highest win percentage.
Okay, so here we go. This is the one that everybody obviously was really dragging him for. I don't actually hate Sam Darnold at 10. I think Dak is a little bit better career-wise, but I would understand if you think, if you're assuming trajectory, which Colin said he is, I don't hate the stance of, well, these next 2 to 3 years in Seattle, while Seattle is clearly a loaded team right now, that he is going to continue to be great and he is going to continue to be the player that we've seen. So I don't hate that take, right? And if you're going to say his next 2 or 3 years is going to put him in a spot where he's clearly better than Dak, fine. Goff, I really don't hate. Goff, to me, is probably also in that spot. I think Goff, I probably would have at 10 if I'm really doing it. That'll be a fun list. That's what we should do. We're going to take a short break here. Maybe that's what we should do. We should build our top 10 quarterbacks. That'll be... Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We are going to pivot, and we're going to do... we're going to make a little graphic. I'm sure I can find one online of our top 10 quarterbacks and in reaction to both of these, top 10 quarterbacks, not even ranked the whole league. And then the top, probably about 20 players of all time. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to pivot. I'm going to take a very short break here. I'm going to put up another video doing some self-promo here. So let me go to my channel. Let's see here. View your channel. See what we got. We're not even talking about the Thunder a lot. I don't want to just keep putting the Thunder here. Let's talk about the Seahawks and Sam Darnold. Why not? Colin got me inspired. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of HardFoul Radio. This is the show that values time and puts God first. Appreciate you for tuning in today. Let's get started. So today is pretty much going to start wrapping up our Super Bowl coverage, and we're going to start looking towards next year. But I felt it was only appropriate if I want to give Seattle all the credit in the world, because when you win a Super Bowl, it's an incredibly hard thing to do. And I don't think we spend enough time just going, hey, look at this incredible thing that they just accomplished. The Seattle Seahawks are a great team, no doubt. But Tony said something yesterday that made me even more intrigued on the potential of going back-to-back or potentially becoming a dynasty, which the dynasty stuff I don't want to really get into, but the back-to-back is more interesting. And that is, if we say Josh Allen is in his prime, Lamar Jackson is in his prime, Patrick Mahomes is in his prime, then we also have to acknowledge Sam Darnold is in his prime. He's a year younger than all of them, 2 years younger than Mahomes. He is 1,000% without a doubt. They have a franchise quarterback in his prime at the peak of his powers. And if it was anybody else, and we said, hey, your championship window, which we all love to talk about, how long is your championship window, how long is your championship window, and we always over-exaggerate it, right? We thought the Legion of Boom with Russ, that championship window was going to go on for years and years and years because of everybody's age. But it realistically, after those back-to-back Super Bowl trips, they never made it back to a Super Bowl. You know, Mahomes, it was like, oh, as long as he's just on the roster. Well, they're coming off a six-win season. So the window is never as open or as open as long as we want it to be. But the reality is, Sam Darnold's window, if he continues to play at this level, is open just as long as Josh Allen, just as long as Lamar Jackson, just as long as Patrick Mahomes. And that's why it is so incredibly important when you get an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, you got to go get one. Because now, and you're going to say, well, Sam's not the level of player that Allen, Lamar, Mahomes is. And yeah, that could be accurate. But the last 2 years, 14-plus wins, a Super Bowl trophy, is as good as 4,000-plus yards both seasons, 30-plus touchdowns. That's as good as any season, any two-season run. It's better than any two-season run Lamar or Allen have. They don't have a trophy. And it's almost as good, just about, as any season Mahomes has ever had. Any 2 seasons. And so now, if you're Allen and Lamar, and let's throw Joe Burrow in there, and now I guess we're starting the clock on Drake May. If you are in these situations, and it's like, when am I going to go get one? I now have to contend with Mahomes coming back. I've got to contend with the other great AFC quarterbacks. And now I have to contend with Sam Darnold in his prime and an all-time defense statistically, and we're getting into them in just a second. Again, dynasty is a touch too far. I understand that. But to go back-to-back, Sam playing this well, why is that not... I understand. I don't view them, and I said this yesterday, I don't view them quite as strongly or feel as strongly about them as I did the Eagles last year. Without the Eagles, that was potentially one of the greatest rosters in NFL history. But this defense isn't going anywhere. JSN is just getting... it's going to be tough to replicate what he did statistically this year, but he's not going anywhere. He's going to keep getting better. They've got cap space. Sam's on a great contract. And again, if these other great quarterbacks are all in their prime and we view their championship window as being open, we have to give Seattle that same credit and that same respect, that their championship window is just as open as the Bills, is just as open as the Chiefs, just as open as the Ravens. Again, this was not, I did not have this thought 24 hours ago. But when I talked to Tony, and I was just like, and he's like, yeah, man, Sam's in his prime. If we consider those other guys to be in their prime, and he's absolutely right. And you got a great GM, which is what we give for Philadelphia and Kansas City and Baltimore. Like, these teams that have had great GMs, really good drafts. They've nailed their last 4 drafts. Every draft since the Russell Wilson trade has been A+. So he's got the draft. He's already got the dominant defense. He's already got good skill position players. They're going to keep adding to this roster, and he is in his athletic prime. Remember, he came in really, really young. So even though it took a long time to get here, this Seattle Seahawks team, the odds are going to say it's, right now a lot of odds makers are being funny because Mahomes coming back from an injury has them in a really precarious place with the Chiefs. The Chargers, again, are favored to win the AFC West, I think is ludicrous. Like, there's a bunch of funny stuff going on with the odds, and when it's way too early, you're always going to have that stuff. Obviously, we still have the draft, the offseason free agency, all this stuff to go on. But I think this Seahawks team has just as real a chance as anyone the last several years to go back-to-back. Obviously, the Chiefs did go back-to-back. So this is a great Seattle team, and Sam Darnold is 1,000% in his prime and has a chance to make a great case towards, I'm not going to call him a Hall of Famer, but he's going to have these next couple of years to build a Hall of Fame adjacent resume. Moving on, there's been a lot of discussion about the Seattle Seahawks defense and how great is it, where does it rank all time. Tony called it a top 10 defense all time. I'm struggling with that right now. I think, and I've been very consistent about this, and I want to make sure that I put this in as much of writing as I can do possibly with a microphone. All-time great defenses to be in the conversation, you got to win a Super Bowl. So even though this year, you could argue Houston, you could argue Denver, you could argue Seattle, obviously, were the three best defenses in the sport statistically, the only one that's got a claim to being an all-timer is the Seattle defense. Houston's defense was amazing and statistically was even a touch better. They don't have an argument. Denver almost broke a sack record that stood since the mid-'80s Chicago Bears. They don't have an argument. This Seattle defense, you got to win a Super Bowl in order to be in this conversation. Now, I said yesterday, it's a little tough because I don't feel like they have that guy. They don't have Von Miller. They don't have Richard Sherman. They don't have Ray Lewis. They don't have Mike Singletary. Like, they're missing that iconic, legendary player at the heart of the defense that makes it tough for me to say, oh, this is for sure a top 10 defense ever. But when you really start to look at it and you go, okay, how great is this now dark side defense? Okay. I always kind of put the disclaimer on, I think the three greatest defenses of all time are, and dispute the order with somebody else, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, and the 75 Steel Curtain, right? And I kind of think they're untouchable. And that's because you just can't play defense that way anymore. You can't play football the way they played football. So you're never going to see somebody recreate what the 2000 Ravens did. You're never going to see anyone recreate what the Steel Curtain could do. You're never going to be able to see anyone recreate what the 85 Bears did with the 46 defense. So those are kind of untouchables in that top three slot. I then think you have a conversation when it comes to the next three defenses, in my opinion, are you could go 4 through 6. I'm not mad whichever order you got them at. I think you have to put the 0-2 Bucks in this conversation. I think you have to put the no-fly zone Broncos in this conversation. And you, without a doubt, have to put the Legion of Boom in this conversation. And again, this is where it feels like this defense comes up a little short. They don't have, again, Von Miller, a Derek Brooks, a Richard Sherman, these legendary all-time iconic players. Devin Witherspoon is great, and maybe he will get there one day. But at the time of winning, it didn't feel like it. And Von, you could argue, is maybe the least established at the time of getting that, but Von's Super Bowl performance was so iconic and so demonstrative that he elevated and catapulted himself into all-time iconic status off of that game alone. And so now it's up to, in my opinion, where are you going to put them? If we want to say they're top 10, in that 7 through 10-ish range, we now have to consider a team like the 08 Steelers, who only gave up 13.9 points per game. That's better than the Seattle defense did. Dick LeBeau, who I've given a lot of credit over the years of saying, what does Mike Tomlin's resume look like as far as the high-end aspects of it? Like, does he have a Super Bowl if he doesn't have Dick LeBeau as his defensive coordinator when he gets to Pittsburgh? That's a conversation. So are they as good as the 08 Steelers? And that's tough. Are they as good as the 2012 Ravens?
A team that Ray Lewis's final run, Ed Reed, Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs, multiple Hall of Famers. Are they as good as that defense? Like, this is where you're going to end up with Seattle, where could they make an argument for top 10? They can, but it's going to be really tough for me if when I'm going in that 7 through 10 range, because even that '08 Steelers defense, that 2012 Ravens defense, again, you've got multiple Hall of Famers, both sides, and Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, these iconic, legendary guys. Like, that's where it's going to get tough. And that's not even including it seeming like the late 80s 49ers. Ronnie Lott, that defense, the year they just absolutely dog-walked the Broncos 55-10 in the Super Bowl, like, that's one of the greatest teams of all time, and their defense is a huge part of that. This is where it's going to be tough for that defense to make a claim. Now, where they will, and I'll close that on this, where they will absolutely have a chance, and what will be unique about them, there's realistically, and that whole, pretty much the Ravens had a great defense the whole time Ray Lewis was there. But that 2000s defense was iconic. The Steelers had a great defense pretty much the whole time this Dick LeBeau was there. But the 08 defense was special. What this defense has a chance to do is something that you can argue only the 70 Steelers and that Legion of Boom defense did, which is Legion of Boom defense led the NFL in points per game 4 times. The Steel Curtain was from 73 to 78, was untouchable. Now, salary cap and team-wise, it was all different again. That's a different football game. It's a different sport almost entirely. But those two teams had sustained periods of absolute dominant defense. The no-fly zone was basically built post-2013 when Denver had the highest scoring offense ever. They then pivoted, brought in Keith Talib, brought in TJ Ward. 2014, 2015, and 2016 they were still really good, but they weren't dominant. They were a one-year thing. And a lot of these defenses, that 2000 Ravens, one-year special, '02 Bucks, one-year special, '08 Steelers, the 2015 Broncos, like they were very, very good to elite, but they had 1 year that clearly stood out as, is this the greatest defense ever? And Seattle having a chance to put themselves up to the Legion of Boom, who did it 4 years in a row, or those Steelers teams from the 70s that you could argue damn near did it for a decade, but we'll give them the back half, 75 to 79. Like, that's where this team is going to be able to make its claim to fame. So, Seattle is, again, absolutely incredible. You got a quarterback in your prime. You got one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Seattle is going to be a handful. I'm not predicting dynasty, but they are going to be a handful. I mean, if you want to be a part of one of the coolest, most unique communities, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Y'all know where to go. So I'm saying, you know where to go. So, pop another one. What I want to do real quick is I want to see. Will they give me? Can I find one? It's a dragon pool. Oh, okay, there it is. Apparently this is with the Ringers, the one as it's telling me. Can I do my own? Can I create one? Open the full list. Let me see if I'm trying to figure this out really quick, guys. If it'll let me do it. Can I make my own? That's really what I'm trying to find out. Wild. Where do they have them? What? What a weird. What a weird. I have no idea how the fuck they do this. Okay, that's just interesting. Let me see. I'm trying to find a better one real quick. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay. Not you. Okay. No, I'm not giving you fuckers money. Wild. Okay. They're giving me everybody. I don't need... Can I just do starters only? No? Bet. Okay. So, what we're going to do, we're going to have some fun here. Because I want to discuss both of these. We just talked about Colin's top 10 list. And we discussed the Nick Wright, where Kobe Bryant should be ranked. So, this is... Wow, this is everybody. I want just a starting quarterback list. Starting QB ranking. I don't want to go through every single thing. Okay, here we go. This is better. All right. So, let's see how we do this. Let's see if I go top 5, and then I go 6 through 10, and then I go 11 through 15, and then 15 through 20, and then just everyone else at that point. Okay, so, and this is really the way to do it, and we'll put our own opinion, our own, we'll have to put our own opinions up there and let people criticize those. So, let's go. Really simple. The guys, some of these guys don't really need explanations. Some of these guys do, obviously. But to me, let's start with the simple ones. This is the best quarterback in football until somebody gets close to his resume. Or if he has another injury, then we can start talking about it. This is the second best quarterback in football. The only thing he's missing is the ring. But I think if you just... Sometimes the eye test sounds lazy, but you can kind of eye test yourself into Josh Allen being the second best quarterback in football. In my opinion, the third best quarterback in football, which is why I kept going with Colin, of like, why are we putting such a low... Why are we putting... Like, why is Lamar so low, man? I just don't get it. Like, what is it about Lamar Jackson that you could justify he's not one of the 3 best quarterbacks in football? Like, what is it? Give me 1 second here. So, Lamar, to me, he's got to be 3. Like, just got to be 3, man. Making sure that I'm not missing anyone here glaring that I can't think of at the moment. No, and no. Okay, so yeah, so Joe Burrow would still make it in here right now. And Stafford would make it in, or not you. Stafford would make it in here. And I got Stafford above Burrow currently. Again, he's the MVP. Burrow is tough because, like, Burrow's just tough, man. I think this is going to be a really good season for him. I think there's a lot of potential here. I am kind of projecting because the Bengals have figured it out and they've added some pieces. I think this team, and I think he's going to look like he always does, and I think the team's success is going to help him out a lot. As far as evaluating how great he is, he's obviously a top 5 talent, and I think he's going to play like that this year. 6 through 10. I want to make sure I do this correctly because people are going to kill me otherwise. So I might move these around, but I'm just going to throw in some names here that I think deserve to be in this spot. I think Jared Goff deserves to be in this spot. Herbert is somewhere here in the top 10. I think Purdy is somewhere here in the top 10. Trevor Lawrence, Dak. I know it's criticizing Colin, but maybe there's just not that many good quarterbacks right now. So this is tough. Honestly, right, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not glaring fucking this up. No. So here's where my opinion would be, I guess, right now. Goff would be 6. I'd probably have Herbert 7. And I'd have Purdy 8. And I know people are going to kill me because I said Purdy should have been drafted. Like, look, Purdy's got Kyle Shanahan. Do I actually think Brock Purdy is the 8th best quarterback in football? Probably not. I don't think he'd go to any situation and it'd be amazing. But I think the situation he's in, he's extremely accurate. He knows that offense. He processes really well. That stuff all has to be accounted for. And so, yes, I think you have to keep him in your top 10. Just the basis of he's done a lot already. Yeah, I think you just got to keep him in your top 10, man. Next comes down to, I think Caleb is close. I think Jaden Daniels is close. I think Hurts is close. I think Trevor is close. I think Dak is close. I think Drake is close. Out of all of these guys still on the bottom, my guy's in this 15 range. Who do I think gets kicked out to make? What's nice about this is, like, these are the – I would probably put right now – I would put Drake definitively in the top 10. Even though I do think there's going to be a struggle here. And I know I said he's the barrier. I think Dak is – I think I got to go Dak. I know I called him the barrier to top 10, but I think looking at everybody right now, like, I think he's got to be 10. I would then go – Trevor would be 11. I think Hurts is 12. And I'll be honest with you, like, then they'll kill me for this. No, because Jordan Love's got to get in here. Who's getting kicked out? Yeah, we're kicking you out. Sorry. And I'm going to put Jordan Love here at 12. Here's my thing. And just so that I don't have to sit there and answer arguments or anything, I'm going to put Bo here behind Caleb because I don't feel like having this argument. These three are all interchangeable to me. These three are talent be damned. Bo has the most wins, most yards, most touchdowns. He's got all the numbers to justify it. The Broncos would have gone to the Super Bowl in year 2. The Broncos, when Bo got to Denver, and I think this is the narrative that bugs me the most. When Bo got to Denver, they were the worst. They were deemed by Pro Football Focus and ESPN the worst roster in the sport. 2 years later, they're the best roster in the sport by a lot of accounts, or second to the LA Rams. When Caleb got to Chicago, how many stories did you hear about best spot ever for a number 1 overall pick? Because they weren't a true terrible team. They were a team that was not great, but they had Carolina's pick, which is how they got the number 1 overall pick. They had just made all these acquisitions. And that still kind of sits with me. And it's like, okay, he objectively had the worst rookie year. The second years, I think, are extremely comparable, especially when you talk about the come-from-behind finishes. Caleb is more talented, and Caleb Williams can make throws that nobody on this list besides Mahomes and Allen can make. That's true. But this isn't the top 15 who throws the craziest pass. This is who is in the top 15 quarterbacks. And to me, Jaden spent most of his second year hurt, but he obviously had the second best rookie year, he had the most successful rookie year for as far as team success. Obviously, he had a bunch of come from behind wins too. Like, you guys know how I feel about that quarterback class. I think he has a chance to be an all-timer. Hell, I got 4 of them already in the top 15 of the league. Trevor and Jordan Love, I think Trevor's more talented, but he's just not quite. I want to see what he does, but he's just right outside that top 10. Jordan Love, I'd have outside the top 10. Drake, potential MVP, a top 2 MVP finish and a top 2 team finish in your second year has got to get you into the top 10. Jalen Hurts, man, this is tough because you have by far the best resume, but last year was really bad. And right now we're dealing with a lot of out of the row, I'd go Jalen. I think Baker is still slightly better than CJ at this exact moment. Oh, I'm tripping here, guys. I'm bugging. I'm sorry. I did have a glaring fuck up here. Now, who do I kick out? Darnold's got to be in this row. I think because I'm kicking out Jaden. And a lot of that is because Jaden is still on that injured timeline. If Jaden finished the season healthy, I might view this differently. But, like, you're coming back. And I know, Bo Nixon is coming back from an injury. Jaden was hurt multiple times throughout the season. He was hurt as a rookie. He has several different injuries. Bo has exactly 1 point which he got injured, which he had surgery for. It's why I'm also, and again, they're not the same player, but I'm just talking about injuries. It's why I'm not moving Mahomes. It's a singular injury. It is not like a career of injuries. Like Joe Burrow has had several injuries. He is a more injury risk than the other guys on there, even though he ended last season healthy and Stafford's old. Allen ended last season with a potential injury, if you believe some of the reports, and Mahomes, obviously, the injury. So Donald's got to go there. So then Jaden, Jalen Hurts, Baker, CJ Stroud, and, man, who's even, They don't have Fernando Mendoza on this list. I wouldn't rank a rookie realistically. I just don't do that. I think it's kind of dumb. I'm glad the franchise has optimism. They should. But if we do that, I'm probably going Yeah. Kyler's going to be a starter somewhere. Bryce, 9. I like Cam Ward. A lot of these guys, Tua and Penix are fighting for the same team. A lot of these other guys I wouldn't even have on here, man. This is some rough. I wouldn't even. Anthony Richardson's not gonna be a starter. Flacco's not gonna be a starter. These guys are just some huff. Everybody else is like it's either rookies or free agents, and they're not. It ain't worth, man. It ain't worth. It always kind of shows you when you really put it in front of you. It shows you how it shows you how many quarterbacks are there. Like, just the lack of like great quarterbacks, honestly. Like, there's just a large amount of yeah. This is an interesting one. GOAT, legend, all-timer, great. I think I have a better way of doing this. We'll just do this. I think I got a better way of doing this. 6 through 10. 11 through 15. 16 through 20. Okay. Yeah, we got another one. This is in response to the top 20 greatest players ever. Some of these guys I wouldn't necessarily have, but this is pretty close to a list as we're going to get here. So we'll start with the easy ones. This guy's pretty good. This guy's pretty fucking good at basketball. Not going to lie to you. This guy over here is also pretty fucking good at basketball. This dude, he's pretty good. Not bad. And then this guy. This is where I think it then gets interesting with these kind of conversations. These are the 4 greatest players in NBA history. In this exact order, in my opinion. You go Michael, you go LeBron, you go Magic, you go Kareem. They're all amazing. I then think the real first conversation starts at 5. And I know nobody likes this opinion. I apologize to Wilt and Bill Russell, who I'm just going to put in the 6 through 10 range because it's so. I know you guys deserve to be in the top 10, but it's so fucking impossible to rank you two. You had 11 titles. You averaged 50 fucking rebounds a game, man. Like what? Or not 50 rebounds a game. 50 points a game. I'm sorry. You averaged 50 points a game and 25 rebounds. How do I compare you to anybody? Anyway. I think the real conversation, because I need some modernization, because it's just a different game. It's why, like, when you rank baseball teams and baseball players, like, you don't really go back. You acknowledge the 1920 Yankees, but you're not really, you're not really going there and being like, oh, like, we don't even acknowledge Babe Ruth anymore as, like, who's got every stat ever, and he is basically your Wilt Chamberlain of baseball. My thing with Kobe and Duncan, it's like, Duncan has the unparalleled consistency. The man stepped into the league and was like, I win 50 games every single year. And they're like, what about lockout years? He's like, don't care. I'm going to go 50 and 14. And it's like, well, damn. All right. That's Tim Duncan's greatest stat, by the way. It was a 64-game season, or 64, 65-game season. It was the lockout year. And it was just like acknowledged of like, okay, cool. The Spurs are probably not going to win 50 games. Fuck it. That's fine. Like, it's a shortened season. You actually wouldn't count that against him. Because it would actually be Duncan's second lockout year. I think the other year he didn't win 50 games was the other lockout year. And that year they paced for like 60-something if they played a full season. They both have 5 titles. Duncan's 5-1, Kobe's 5-2. They're both all-time defenders. Duncan is better. Offensively, they're top 2 at their position ever at offense. Duncan's probably 1. But Duncan never. Here's the problem with like Tim Duncan stats. I just want to make sure that I'm not being a hater, because I was told I was a hater last time I did this, and I just want to make sure. I just want to be safe. I got my little iPad here next to me. I just want to make sure I'm not being a hater, because I've been told that I was hating on Tim Duncan before, and I don't want to hate on Tim Duncan. He's an all-time great player. That's what I thought. Tim Duncan, for his career, did not average 20 points a game. Kobe Bryant's at 25. And I know people will be like, that's not fair because Duncan played. They both played forever. Duncan has 1,392 games. Kobe has 1,346. So 50 more games. Kobe could average 0 in those 50 games. He would have a higher points per game total than Tim Duncan. That's not including the fact Kobe has years. Both had down years. Kobe's a rookie, only averaged 7 points a game. Barely played. Kobe didn't get to 25 until his 5th year in the league. Is that a real number? Wait a minute. Duncan averaged, so Kobe didn't get to 25 until his 5th year in the league. Duncan got there in his 1, 2, 3, 4, also his 5th year in the league. The difference is Duncan never did it again. Duncan is just the most, in the first half of his career, was basically 20 and 10. 20 and 12, let's be fair. He was 20 and 12. But he was not some high prolific scorer. Kobe got to 25 and did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. 12 and 13 years, he got to over 25. Duncan's the better defensive player. But it's not like Kobe, who's a 10-time, 11-time all-defense. It's not like Kobe was a bum on defense. They both got 5 titles. They both have the all-time coach accolade of, one has Greg Popovich, one has Phil Jackson. I think you're splitting hairs here. I think anyone that says there's like a gap between Kobe and Duncan, I think are lying to themselves. I think they're objectively lying to themselves. I would put Kobe 5. I put Duncan here. Again, Russell and Wilt are impossible. I know they're in the top 10, but they're kind of impossible. Hakeem has to make my... no. Hakeem is in my top 10, and Shaq's in my top 10. So all the big men. I would probably do something like this. And I want to be respectful to... Let me put him here. I think Shaq is better than Hakeem. But I don't know where to put Bill. I know they belong in the top 10, which 6 through 10, ironically, is all centers. I know Duncan's a power forward, but all these motherfuckers are 7 feet tall. I think that's where I'm at. This would be my top 10 currently. Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan 6, Shaq 7, Wilt 8, Russell 9. And I guess I'd flip. I don't even know how to grade them against each other. This is interchangeable, man. This is 8A and 8B. They don't have a 9. 8A, 8B, and then there's Hakeem at 10. I think Steph is right outside at 11. They don't have Giannis. Giannis would make my top 20. Oh, I'm tripping, you guys. I'm tripping. Why didn't somebody tell me I was tripping? I knew I was missing somebody. Oh, shit. I knew I was missing somebody. Oh, my gosh. Bird's got to be in here. But where does he go? I'm sorry, Hakeem. And I think I got Bird over Shaq. I think this is, yeah. Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, Bird, Wilt, Bill Russell, Shaq, Hakeem, Steph, I genuinely think, and maybe I've learned over the last couple of weeks, I just probably have Durant higher than everybody else in the world, but he's just definitively one of the 15 best basketball players of all time. Like I just can't be convinced otherwise. I'm gonna give Jerry West the respect the same way I gave Russell and Wilt. I think out of everybody on this list, I don't even want to throw his name up there. Giannis would probably be 15. I'm not putting the nasty man up there. Y'all got me fucked up. Can I, remove him? Nope. Okay. So throw Giannis's name up. The Giannis is the 15th spot, right? We'll represent Giannis with Oscar Robertson because I probably don't got Oscar Robertson in my top 20 either. No, that's unfair to Oscar. This order, I'd probably go Chuck, Dr. J, I got KG, Dirk, Oscar, but that's definitely not the order. I'd have Oscar here. Dirk would probably be my 20th. I do think KG is better than Dirk. Dr. J. I think Oscar's better than Chuck. This is probably my top 20. And this isn't even accurate. Because they don't have Jokic on here. I think Jokic is better than... Jokic would beat out Dirk, KG, and Dr. J, and Chuck. Giannis and Jokic would be in my top 15. Jerry West would slide down. I'm not putting nobody on the same category with this nasty. You just out here by yourself, big dog. You just leave. We'll figure this out later. He's just a... Yes, they don't have Giannis or Jokic. So, if I were to add... Giannis and Jokic are definitely here. They won't let me put nobody else back down there. I can't, click you out. Nope. Okay. Who's got to get outside of the top 20 then? Probably Dirk. So Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, Bird, Wilt, Russell, Shaq, Hakeem, Steph. I would then go Jokic, Giannis, Durant, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Charles Barkley, Julius Erving, Kevin Garnett is probably my top 20. Guys like D. Wade and Dirk are right on the outside of my top 20, personally. But I'll post those.